before you even start doing makeup, you want to know what your skin type is. So everybody know what their skin type is or what a skin type is? If you don't, it's okay. No? Okay. So there's normal skin, oily skin, dry skin, and then it's combination skin. So it's a combination of all of any combination of them. You can have all of them, you can have 2 of them, any of them. So to find your skin type, I would say you can do a test. You wash your face with a gentle cleanser. I don't know if y'all have ever seen Cetaphil cleanser. Probably, even if you don't know it by name, you probably done seen it before. Just wash your face with that. Let it sit for about 30 to 60 minutes. And then after that, see if your skin do it feel oily in any areas? Do it feel dry in any areas? Oh, I also forgot sensitive skin. So is your skin getting red? When you put, after the 30 to 60 minutes, once you put a moisturizer on there, is it getting even more irritated? You want a pen and paper?
No.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So once you do the test, just see which see how your skin is feeling. Usually if it's oily, it's gonna be in your T-zone. So your T-zone is right here. Just create a T. So your nose and your forehead. My skin is super duper uber oily. If anybody else got oily skin, I know we like to act like everything can be perfect, but I don't care how well you lay the lace. I don't care how well you prime the skin. It's the lace and your skin is oily. With anything, it ain't going, because I see some people, oh, like this product, try this method. Is not, if your skin is really oily, it's going to produce oil throughout the day. There's no way in hell you finna go all day and it's gonna be a product that keep your skin matte. Even if it is, it's probably not healthy for your skin, and you probably shouldn't be using it that often. Like, it is some products that can help drastically, but for the most part, you don't want to be using them every day. That's for like a wedding. That's for a birthday. That's for just some special occasions. So once you know your skin type, that's going to help you determine all the other makeup products you're buying. So once you know your skin type, you're buying, if you have oily skin, you're buying things for oily skin. If you have oily skin, get familiar with the word matte, M-A-T-T-E. I'm not a Keela. And this is not the B. Also with them thank you cards, baby, if I spelled anything wrong, you know what I meant. So yeah, if you got oily skin, you want to look for matte products. So a matte foundation, matte primer, anything with the word matte. Anything that don't have oil in it. If you got dry skin, you want to look for really hydrating products. Get familiar with the word dewy. So instead of matte is for oily skin, dewy is for dry skin. So once you know your skin type, if you have oily skin, or not oily, if you have normal skin, I would focus on products that, if you got normal skin, you really just get to pick. I would say go with, just because you have normal skin, that don't mean you have pores. But if you do have bigger pores, then that's when, okay, get you a blurring primer. That's something that's going to help hide the pores. Everybody kind of familiar, they know what pores are? Okay. If you want your makeup, if you got normal skin and you want it to look more dewy, more glowy, you can use that. If you want it to look more matte because you know you're in a hot place and you want to make sure at the end of the night you can get away with not looking oily, you can do that. Oily skin, I'm mad at you because you just really get to do whatever. I wish I had normal skin. So yeah, like I said, that's how you pick the primer, that's how you pick your foundation. You want to stick with what is best for your skin type. Yeah, so now I'm gonna ask Shawty some questions. For doing your own makeup, you just do it the way that you know your skin type, all that. But for doing clients, you want to definitely make sure you're doing a consultation before the call, or not before the call, before the appointment. So you just want to ask them, do you know your skin type? Do you got oily, dry?
Yep, I have oily skin.
Okay, that's what I figured. And sometimes the client might not know, so you might have to ask more questions to figure out, because they might say they got oily skin, but maybe they just don't use a moisturizer. So if you have oily skin and you don't use a moisturizer, your skin is going to produce even more oil because you're not even moist. You're not doing nothing. So it's like, dang, I already produce oil, but now I got to produce extra oil because you're not even moisturizing me. So even with oily skin, you definitely want to make sure you you moisturize, you tone, before any client or yourself, I like to have, you got to have a good skincare routine. So start with a good cleanser that's formulated for your skin type. If you have oily skin, you want to use something that is pulling out the oils and imperfections so that you're starting fresh. If you have dry skin, you want to use something that's more hydrating as a cleanser. If you have normal skin, you want to use something that's just basic, straightforward. If you have sensitive skin, you want to be using something that's not too harsh. You want to be doing that. You want to be, with a client, you can't really help this, but for yourself, you want to be exfoliating at least 2 to 3 times a week. That's going to help with the texture of your skin. My face be breaking out a whole lot, but I get complimented on the texture of my skin other than the acne because I exfoliate so much. My skin is not sensitive, so I personally exfoliate every other day, sometimes every day, but that's just me personally. I would, if you're not used to exfoliating, don't try to do that. I would start off with 2 times a week and then work your way up. If anybody need any recommendations for any of these products, I got y'all. So cleansing, if you have oily, especially acne prone skin, I personally like to double cleanse. That's something that we were taught in esthetician school. That's what you do during the facial. Like I said, my skin is real oily, so I gotta make sure I'm getting all this oil out of my face. Now I'm not using nothing super duper harsh. I don't know if anybody know what panoxyl is. It's like in a blue. I wouldn't dare use that twice or every day, but as long as it's like a pretty, as long as it's not too harsh on your skin, I would go in with a double cleanser. So cleanse, exfoliating 2 to 3 times a week for yourself. For clients, like I said, we can't control what they do at home. So after that, you want to use a toner. You want to use a toner that's for your skin type, and you can, I don't want to give y'all too much information, or not too much, but I don't want to overwhelm y'all with information. So I would recommend just one toner for like your main skin goal. If you're really trying to focus on skin texture, get one that focuses on that. If you want to really focus on dark marks, get a toner that focuses on that. If you want to, whatever you want to focus on, get a toner for that. But the more you get into it, the more you get into skincare, and everybody, just from looking at all y'all skin, I don't think y'all necessarily need all this, but I just want to give y'all this information. Like me personally, I have really oily skin. I break out quite a lot. So I have a toner that I use when I'm actively breaking out. I have a toner that I use just every day regardless, and I will layer. I typically, right now, I'm using 3 toners at once. You ain't got to do all that, but you can do that. I have another toner that's...
What exactly is the toner?
It's technically, its job is to bring your skin's pH back to a regular pH. So when you clean it, it's kind of stripping your skin of a lot of different ingredients and a lot of things that it needs. So the toner just brings it back down to where it needs to be.
So is it like a cream?
Oh, I got you. It's a liquid.
Okay.
I got a. It's usually all a liquid. Some of them you have to put it on like a pad. Other ones I can just apply it to my hands, rub it in, and then kind of like pat it into my face. Yeah. So the toner is always going to be liquid, and then a serum is usually always going to be liquid. It's liquid. It's a little thicker. This is a serum too. It's just like some pads on it, on like a cotton pad already. So after the toner, you want to go in with a serum. I would recommend just for everybody to start off if you just don't, because it's a lot of options. There's a whole lot of options in the stove. This is my favorite one, the hyaluronic acid serum, Good Molecules. I really like this one. It's very moisturizing. Even like I said, even as somebody with oily skin, you want to, the more you moisturize your skin, the less oil it's going to produce. Just as long as you're not using like any just straight oil on your face. You want to just make sure you're using water-based products, and usually if it's something specifically for oily skin, it's going to be a water-based product. So just make sure you're shopping for your skin type. So cleanser, exfoliating 2 to 3 times a week, toner, serum. I would say this one, you can also layer serums, like toners, like how I use a couple. I'm using like 2 of them right now. I use these 2 personally on myself. This is a vitamin C one. It don't necessarily matter the order you put the serums, but vitamin C should go first. So if you have a vitamin C serum, just make sure you put that on if you want to put another one on top of it. Some serums, make sure you just read it, because some of them you have to use it at night just because it's too strong to be in the sun. You should be using the SPF. I should use that more. The only reason I don't use it as much, especially when you wear makeup, because then you're supposed to, I don't know if y'all know this, but you're supposed to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. after 2 hours is expired and you gotta start over. So unless you should be continuously applying it. But if you're wearing makeup, unless you have some sort of makeup product that you can reapply it with, and I have not found one that don't have some sort of flashback, or because it'd be like powders and it's all white, and I can't put that, you know, like that's not gonna mix well.
Does it
So
come in like a setting spray?
it does, but I've even had one that has like it leaves like splotches on your face when you spray it. So if I find a product that I really like, I will definitely let y'all know. But as far as just like not wearing any makeup, I would definitely keep some sunscreen with you and reapply it every 2 hours, especially if you have dark marks. Because I always thought, I'm like, why do my dark marks they always get darker in the summertime? That's because it's the sun outside, it's dark marks, they're just getting darker because it's the sun. Any melanin is gonna get darker because of the sun.
You got a favorite sunscreen?
I don't. If I had to pick one, it might be the Neutrogena Hydro Boost sunscreen. It's very hard to find, so I usually have to order it. I honestly just try different sunscreens. I usually go to Burlington, TJ Maxx. Yeah, it's real oily. Even the matte one to me is real oily. I'm not a fan. But if you have dry skin, yeah, I was gonna say you don't have oily skin, so it might work for you. It's a good one if you don't have oily skin. If you do got oily skin, I personally won't use it. If you have oily skin, I would use, they have matte sunscreens. So you can buy sunscreens that have a matte finish. The Hydro Boost one that I mentioned, it does not have a matte finish whatsoever. But I don't know, even though I got oily skin, I'm kind of used to my skin looking shiny. So I really don't care. Any other questions? But I would just say TJ Maxx, Burlington. I like a deal, so. Literally, especially because, like I said, it's not one that I'm just super in love with. So after you apply your serums, then I know these are a lot of steps, but for you to get the most flawless of bases, this is what you got to do before we even put we didn't even put no makeup on. Then it's a moisturizer. So you want to use a moisturizer that's like I said, cater to your skin type. If you got oily skin, you want to be using a lightweight, they make like aloe vera gel, usually like a gel type moisturizer, something light, maybe something a little heavier in the winter time, but I would only use something heavy if you have dry skin. You want to use something thicker if you have dry skin. You want to use something with like a little bit of a thinner texture if you have oily skin. Normal skin, like I said, you can just use, they have like normal gentle cleansers, moisturizers. And if for some reason you're feeling more dry that day, you can use a thicker moisturizer. If you're feeling more oily that day, you can use a thinner moisturizer. You really just get to do whatever you want to do with normal skin, honestly. So since we know that she has oily skin, did you have any makeup on yesterday?
Nope.
Okay. If she would have had on makeup, I would have used some makeup remover on her face. A lot of people show up to makeup appointments with makeup on, so I don't know why, but they do. So I'm just going over with the toner. And you just want to make sure you're hitting just all the different areas. If they have a wig on or something, you don't want to, especially because like this cotton, it could get caught in like her lace or something. You just want to be real mindful if you're doing somebody makeup and they got like a wig on or something, or if they got their edges done. Don't mess it up. And this toner that I'm using, it's just a basic toner. It has, I don't know how to pronounce that word, but it has some sort of acid in it. It's just a very basic toner, just because I'm gonna use, all the other products that I use are pretty like very targeted. So this is something kind of like that's safe for all clients. And then like when it comes to like her oiliness, I'll use stuff very specific to that to help with that. But that's just what I personally keep in like my kit for my clients. It's not always the same one. I kind of just, if it's not something that I just love, I'm gonna just keep trying stuff until I find something that I really love. When you're doing your own skincare routine, you always want to make sure you take it down to your neck. So any toners, I'm making sure I'm taking down to my neck. Any serums, I'm making sure I'm taking it down to my neck. And even your chest too. So like this whole little area. And if you notice, I didn't wipe under her eye. I'm gonna have her open her eyes and look up towards the ceiling. That's just because she got lashes on. And you always want to make sure you just being as gentle as possible, especially around somebody's eye, but just as gentle as possible in general when you doing makeup. It ain't really no need to be rough. Okay. I usually don't use these little pads for clients, but since I live in Las Vegas, so since I was flying here, I figured this would be easier to bring. But usually I just keep like all actual bottles. So for the people that's wanting to learn for other people, am I gonna really see y'all doing people makeup? Because I done had a lot of people take my class and I don't never see y'all taking clients.
How would you start a clientele?
I would. Is this something you want to do for fun, or is this something you want to possibly make a career?
Yeah, I'm in cosmetology school.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost done with it. So,
Is makeup what you want to like specialize in, or you? Okay.
But you know, I learned more here in school.
Girl, I taught the makeup class in my esthetician school. I feel you. They don't teach you nothing. I would start by doing your own makeup. When I first started, I did my makeup every single night. Every single night. Because you got to take a shower at night. So I might as well practice. I ain't going to do nothing but take it off if it look bad. If it look good, I'm going to take some pictures. So I would start with that. You ain't got to do every single night, but I would. Just until you get comfortable, and doing makeup on other people is different than doing makeup on yourself. But to me, it's easier. So I feel like if you can learn to do it on yourself, the biggest difference is going to be like learning how to like get the certain angles that you would on yourself. That's, I would say, one of the hardest things. But once you just got to feel confident. Once you feel confident in doing other people's makeup, other people probably thought you was confident enough a year ago. You know, like once somebody, if anything, I would do your makeup, take pictures, start posting them. Watch somebody ask to pay you or pay you to do their makeup. And then it's just like, well, if somebody willing to pay for it, you ready. Yeah. You ready. Ask them how much they want, how much they willing to pay. Especially since you're in school, like you're going to be licensed to do it. Once you feel comfortable and once you get the skills going, you good. You already like 10 times ahead versus somebody that don't have their license. So I would just say, find looks that you want to recreate. I would say get your base routine down. So when I say base, I mean everything, the face, like no eyes, just eyebrows and your skin. Not even lips yet. You can still work on them, but I would say get your base routine set. I don't know if you have friends that you can do services on them, cousins, mama, granny, anybody. Make a post on Facebook, ask if you can get models. I'm not personally in the business of charging for models because you need a model. But, you know, I'm pretty sure as long as it's free, somebody will let you practice on them. Just do as much makeup as you can. That's the moral of the story. Do as much makeup as you can, even for y'all. Before y'all go, before September 12th, do your makeup as much as you can. Just so when it gets to the time, you done used all these products. I done did all these steps. I know it's going to look right. I ain't got to stress about... If anything, your biggest stress is going to be, do this hotel room got good lighting? You know? Like, you know that. That's one thing I never really understood when people, like, go on vacation. They're like, oh, my makeup looks so different. As long as you got the same products and you ain't just got a couple shades darker, it should look the same. Like, you should be able to do the same routine damn near in the dark. And, you know, as long as you can see your face and where you placing everything, you should be good. One thing I did forget was an eye cream. It's not 100% necessary. I just like to take certain steps for when I'm older, and I don't know, I ain't got bags, I ain't got creases, so that's really just what that's for. When you're doing makeup on other people, I'm not touching this dropper to her skin whatsoever. I'm literally just dropping it on there and letting it fall. You never want to put something directly onto people's skin. The only exception to that would be a lip liner, because I mean, at least I don't know of a way to line somebody's lips without putting the lip liner to it. But in that instance, you sanitize it, you spray it with alcohol. If it's a sharpenable one, you sharpen it and you get the part that you touched to somebody's lip out of there. With eyeshadow palettes, I spray them with alcohol to kind of disinfect them, if you will, in between. I feel like that's a little different just because after all this, her face is clean, my brushes is clean, you know, like. And you can use a brush for this. I personally just like to use my fingers. I think it goes into her skin a bit better. And you can feel, so between, that's one thing I didn't mention, between all these steps, straight out the shower, toner. You don't have to wait you don't have to wait for your toner to dry to apply serums. I actually prefer to apply serums when my face is still wet from my toner. But before you put on your moisturizer, you should rub that serum in until you will feel, especially if you get this hyaluronic acid, you will feel it moisturize and you'll feel that it's all absorbed into your skin. And that's another reason why I prefer to use my hands over a brush. Just because it's going in the brush, I'm losing product, and my hands is clean. So just wait a couple minutes, then put your moisturizer on. Once you put your moisturizer on, I would honestly wait at least 5 minutes to start my makeup. Just because you want all of those products to sink into your skin. Some products just don't mix well. Certain ingredients don't mix well, and it's more likely that that will happen if everything is still fresh and moist on the skin. But as long as you're buying products that's like I said, if you dry, as long as you're buying all dewy products, they should all mix well together. As long as you matte and you oily, you buy all those products, they should mix well together. So if you notice right here is versus how, you know, you can see the difference in texture, right? Did you see that? Mm-hmm. Okay. The better your skin prep is, if you ever do your makeup or if you've ever done your makeup and you felt like it didn't look good, you probably just didn't prep your skin well enough, honestly. This is so much more important than the actual makeup application. If you don't do this right, it really don't matter. So that was the last serum. I'm gonna have you look up towards the ceiling. I'm gonna put some under eye gel. I would definitely do this if the person has oily skin, or, okay, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the order of makeup in a second, but depending on what type of skin they have and what makeup look I'm doing will determine the order of me putting things on their skin. So if they have oily skin and they're not getting anything with glitter, shimmer, I'm gonna try to do your eyes before I do your foundation. If it's just glitter, like loose glitter, not like an eyeshadow glitter, I could get away with doing your foundation and then doing that. But any shimmer, if it gets somewhere, it can smear, and then now you got like a glittery streak right there. I just would prefer to get that out the way before I get any foundation on the face, because then that could just mess everything up. Today I'm gonna do it first, but that's honestly just for like demonstration purposes. But yeah, if they were doing like a smoky eye, which is just like something dark. It could be dark brown, it could be black, just a real dark eye. If it's black, I might do it afterwards just because I don't want to get any black eyeshadow down here. But my point in saying all of that was, you want to put eye gel under the eye, because if they have dry skin, any intricate look, you automatically do the eyes first, I would say, before you do the foundation. Just because we can put loose powder under the eye and that will catch any fallout of eyeshadow. But if they have dry skin, you don't want to have a whole bunch of powder sitting right there for that long, because if they have really dry skin, like, that's gonna look terrible once you dust it away. You have to really work to try to get it to look better. So yeah, I feel like that was kind of confusing and conflicting, but if you have dry skin, I would just try to do whatever eye look first. If they have oily skin, you can get away with doing it afterwards, because you can put powder right there and you can dust it off. Also with eyebrows, I used to do eyebrows first. I know a lot of people do eyebrows first because I feel like most people, that takes them the longest. To me, doing it first, I feel like it took the longest because I kept trying to get them perfect, but like, you ain't even did the rest of your makeup, so it's not gonna look right, you know, like, it just looks incomplete. So now I do my eyebrows last, and I personally prefer a more natural brow than, I feel like a couple years ago we used to do like the thicker, you know, eyebrows, but now I feel like we done went back to a natural eyebrow. So I'll show y'all how to do that, but I typically do my eyebrows last. And I feel like before, when we would like carve them out and have to work around them, is because it's products that I might need to like blend into her eyebrow, if that makes sense. Like her contour, I might need to blend it in, but if her eyebrow was already done, I can't really blend the way that I would want to blend because there's already something right there. Any questions right now? Okay. And I would be doing pretty much the same thing on myself. I always use my ring finger for putting products under my eye. It's I don't know if it's true, but I just always, when I first started doing makeup, I always heard that it's your most gentlest finger. So especially on clients, I always do that just because you don't, like I said, you don't want to, especially with their eyes, you don't want to irritate nothing on their eyes. That's another question to ask in the consultation. And if they don't know, do that eye look first. Ask them, do your eyes get watery? Have you gotten your makeup done in the past? Did your eyes water? Did they feel irritated? If it's any lick of sort of yes, do the eye look first. Cause yeah, you will get done with the eye and the whole face, and now she done started crying. And you can fix it, but like eyeliner, even if it's kind of like, it's like, okay, I might do the eyes after, but I'm gonna put your eyeliner on first thing after this, just because I'm not risking it. I'm not risking it. That's just more work for you at the end. Even for yourself, if you know that your eyes water, do your eyeliner first. Yeah, I don't care if you gotta do it and wait 30 minutes until you actually finna do your makeup. Just do it, get it out the way, and let your eye come back to normal. If you like have allergies or you have like eye drops, make sure you put them in beforehand, let them sit. I haven't personally tried that for clients, but I would say that's something that you could like have on hand or try if it's somebody that have like real bad watery eyes. You can try to give them some eye drops, see if that helps. I started personally using them because my eyes used to never water, and now my eyes water every single time I do my makeup, so I understand. I'm pretty sure this is just like, this might be either a CeraVe moisturizer. This is just like a very basic moisturizer. For the toner and moisturizer, I keep it very basic, like I said. And even for like the hyaluronic acid, this is really just a moisturizing. It says, delivers deep hydration to plump the appearance of fine lines So it's hydrating your skin. It's very basic. It's nothing that's gonna dry her out, but it's also not nothing that's gonna add too much moisture. If I knew she didn't have dry skin, so if I would have my whole kit, I would have had like something maybe a little bit more hydrating, just in case she did have dry skin. Whenever I'm doing makeup, you want to have, or at least this is the way I think about it, I think you should personally have, as the makeup artist, every single thing that the person should need. I just personally don't think that they should bring anything. You should have lashes, whether that's included in your price or that's an additional price, foundation, all of that. So you want to make sure you have enough options for everybody. So you want to have a matte primer, you want to have a dewy primer, you want to have some products for sensitive skin. You also want to have a shade range. You don't have to have every single shade, but whatever foundation you choose to use. I personally I like the Maybelline Superstay. That's probably like one of my favorite foundations. It has been for years now. The shade range could be a little bit better, but I would grab the lightest and the darkest of whatever foundation you choose to get, and then get some of the in-between ones. Just because you don't, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have a foundation that is exactly somebody's color. It's very rare that I just pick up one foundation and I'm like, yeah, this is her color. Usually I got to mix them. We're going to, so like undertones. There is a red undertone, or it's warm, cool, and neutral. So warm is more like a red undertone, cool is more like a green blue undertone, and then neutral is like a mixture of warm and cool. So a test to see which kind of undertone you have, I wrote this down, is to look at your veins. So if your veins look more purple, blue, you're more cool. If they look green, you're more warm. Another test is with jewelry. If you think that you look better with gold jewelry, you usually probably are more warm tone. If you look better with silver jewelry, you're more cool toned. If you look better with either or, you're probably neutral. I will also say just go to Sephora. That's the only thing I do like Sephora for. You can go in there and you can try different foundations. Just streak them on your face, on your neck, just to see. Usually they're labeled. It'll be N for neutral, W for warm, C for cool. So you'll be able to see which ones is which. I would just go in there and just, especially for those that want to do other people, just get familiar with it. Be able to, it doesn't have to be exactly correct. But just looking at Shardy, I could tell she's definitely more neutral to cool. Yeah. And when you're looking for a foundation shade, usually most people aren't just one color. So usually I'm matching their neck, I'm matching their chest. Like I remember in the wintertime when people would come get their makeup done, I'd be looking at their ankles, like just because I need to see whatever part of the body I can. Because usually, especially in the wintertime, your face is the lightest on you. So if I was to just match your face, now you out there like, some don't look right. So definitely make sure you don't just go by your hand. I know a lot of people do this. That's not very accurate. If anything, I would go from your neck or your chest. And I typically like to go a shade darker. Especially if you like to highlight, if you like a real bright under eye, or you plan on, I know some people do like the powder right here to give you more of like a chiseled jawline. If you like to do stuff like that, I would definitely go darker, just because you can, it's a lot easier in my opinion to lighten some foundation up once it's already on the face versus darkening it up. Once you go light, you really gotta work to try to get that back the right color. Trust me, I done been there. If we went darker and I step back and I'm like, ooh, it's a little dark, it's real easy for me to, okay, boom, the powder that I'm using all over her face, automatically it's gonna be lighter than that foundation. I'm gonna use an even brighter concealer than I thought I was. Yeah, you can just work around it. Versus if she was all lighter, just, you gotta put product dang near everywhere to make it darker, versus I could just hit a couple areas of the darkness and now maybe I can skip contouring and bronzer because she's already darker. You know, that makes sense? Yeah. Okay. During the appointment, this would be a lot quicker. I would get straight to the point about her skin type, and then I would start the skin prep process, so then we can talk more while I'm already in this process. And then I'll ask more questions like, when's the last time you got your makeup done? Have you ever gotten your makeup done? What was it? Was it a full face? Was it just eyebrows, lashes? What didn't you like about it? What did you like about it? Because everybody different. I learned that. You can't get, I can't get mad because you want me to do something, even if I think it look bad. You paying me, so if you want me to, I done had somebody that want me to make their eyebrows like jet black block. Hey, do I want you out there telling people I did that? No, but as long as you tell them that that's how you wanted it, that's what you paid for. Usually when I do skin prep, I like to put something on their lips. Because when you do your lip combo, you want the lips to be really dry. But if you didn't already moisturize it beforehand, now it's just super dry. And I don't know if you'd have never tried to put lip gloss on dry lips. It's not, So this is a disposable, yeah, not a spoolie. It's a, lip applicator. There we go. I just use these. This is a lip mask. I just really like these lip masks, so I usually always, if I don't have this with me, I just put clear lip gloss on their lips, because sometimes I do be forgetting things, and you will have to learn how to improvise, because I done been places and baby, I done forgot whole products. I done forgot brushes. Now I gotta figure out how to do your whole face with 3 brushes. Yeah. You got to get resourceful. So these, I've forgotten a brush to like clean up around the eyebrows. I've used this for that. I use this to put eyeliner in the waterline. I've used this to apply cream products because I forgot something to do that. Yeah, just get creative. You should have the products, but if you got to get creative. Any questions? I think it's time for a question and a prize. Let's see.
We're doing shouting out or raising hands?
Yep. I think we're gonna do raise hands. I'll start with an easy one. Yeah, oh, I'm gonna wait for her. Okay. Should you put on primer before or after moisturizer? Yours first.
You said before or after moisturizer?
Mm-hmm.
After?
Mm-hmm. You can look at them. You can pick one. That's an eyeshadow palette.
Okay. I feel like I've seen this on TikTok before.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. After I had an experience with them at Essence Fest, I don't want to support them anymore. But they have very good eyeshadow palettes. Let's see. If you have oily skin, what is likely the areas that will get oily? Mm-hmm. What's your T-zone?
Dang, it's a
No, you got it. Come, it's a T. It's a T. You got it. What the other part of the T?
Oh.
Yeah. You can look at it. I would say that would be cool. I think when the last time you got your makeup done?
I
Never? Okay. That might be a little light for you, if I'm being honest. I think that would be, because I don't want you to get it and you can't use it. You might be able to use that as like powder, like actual setting powder, but that's a bronzer palette, it might be a little light for you.
Okay.
If you, yeah. I would say if you want to get that, I would say that would be a good color for you. That is an eyeliner. It's not black.
Like,
okay. If anybody else question about what's in there, just ask me. I got you. This is a bronzer palette. Like I said, I think she might be the only one that like y'all personally, but if you plan on doing other people makeup, this can come in handy for anybody. This is a lipstick. This is a concealer. Good for, I would say, oily or dry skin or normal. I would say you, and you could definitely use this as like a highlight shade. Another one, I would say y'all three would be able to use that as a highlight shade. And then this is a highlighter. Right? Okay. So the one is different than the one inside of here. The two inside of there are the same, but it's basically it's a silver one of those.
Okay.
Okay, so we kind of talked about like undertones and finding, so when it comes to finding your shade match, like I was saying, that's one thing that I would definitely give it to Sephora. They let you try different foundations and everything. I know it might be hard to translate the shade that you get from there to like Ulta or something like that, if that makes sense, because like I said, I don't necessarily, other than Huda, which is this brand, and they have a matte foundation. It's okay, that one and an Estee Lauder is Estee Lauder Double Wear. Those are the only two foundations that I would be able to recommend you from Sephora. I really, not that they're not good, I just think that you can find something for a fraction of the price. So I would go there, find your shade and a foundation, then take that information, you go to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, look up somebody that's that shade. Then go through their page, find their shade in another drugstore foundation. So it's just a little bit easier. So it's like, okay, if me and her both wear this color and then she get this foundation, I should be that color, or at least around that color. And then if it's a different color, usually most places you can do an exchange, even if you opened it. Just take it back and get, if it's too dark, get a light or a step down. If it's too light, go a step up, and just kind of go from there. Because sometimes it can be, I feel like now I've gotten pretty well, and you'll notice like certain brands use the same names. Like in Maybelline, usually I'm around the shade Cocoa, or something of that nature. So once you start getting more familiar with brands and products, you'll be able to know like, okay, this is like, it should be my shade. Especially once you get more comfortable with like your undertone and everything. Okay, so usually almost always cream and liquid products are gonna go before a powder. The only exception to that rule, and with makeup, it's really not necessarily rules. There's things that, like I was saying, like there's products that don't mix well together. So it's sometimes you can use a product and you put another product on top of it and it might start rolling off or something. I don't know if you ever use like, I don't know, like some old hand sanitizer, old lotion, and it's kind of gritty and you just like, what's like, something like that could happen. I've had it, I don't know why I went on vacation and I tried different products. I don't know why I would do that, but I did that. And it was like a strip on my cheek and my primer didn't mix well with my foundation. I literally was out just missing a gap of makeup on my cheek. I'm like, what's going on? So definitely, that's why I say do get everything together before y'all go. You know exactly what's going on. And yeah, just make sure everything is, you waiting in between steps. That's really one of the biggest ones, and making sure that you're using similar products. If you're able to, it would be great for you to stick within like a same line of products. If you have oily skin, I really like the L'Oreal Infallible line. They have a foundation, they have a let me see. They have a foundation. This is like it's a different version of the foundation, but it's the same type of like brand. I will say that brand tends to run very red. That's the only thing that I dislike. But they sell like, you can buy a bottle of like just blue pigment. If it's too red, add that blue pigment to it, and now it's a cooler or a neutral foundation. LA Colors is very cheap. They sell a blue pigment, a red pigment, and a yellow pigment. The yellow is neutral. So if you probably don't want to do this. You probably just want to buy a foundation where you can just use it. But for clients, I like to have those 3 in my bag, so I don't have to carry a whole bunch of foundations with me. If I want to carry these certain colors, that's typically, because once you start doing makeup, you'll know. That's why you don't buy all the colors, because you see which colors you gravitate towards most. Once you see that, you'll see which ones you got to re-up on, and then you'll be like, okay, well, this is a common color, but a lot of them not really as red, so I need to put this blue in my bag so that I can make it a more neutral foundation. But yeah, I like their concealers, I like their powders, I like their foundation. The Maybelline Superstay, like I was saying, I don't know if they have concealers in this. I'm pretty sure they do, but I really like their foundation. I like their powders. I've never tried, this is the only thing from Too Faced that I've tried, but I really do like these concealers. This is another Sephora one that I give it to them. I do really like this concealer. Milani, I really like their concealers. The shade range isn't the widest, but I do really like their concealers. They have foundations, but it's real hard to, they got about 4 or 5 of them things. You can't really match nothing with that. But yeah, I would just try to, if you can, stick with the same, if not the same brand, just make sure they all say matte. Make sure they all say dewy if you dry. Make sure they all for normal skin if it's for normal skin. Also on foundations, it'll tell you how much coverage it gives you. So if you have a lot of dark marks, you want something that's more medium to full coverage. If you want something that's more natural, you want something that's more light coverage. You can even probably get away with like a tinted SPF, like a that's a way you can get that sunscreen in there without having to redo multiple steps. So for looking at her, I knew who the model was going to be, so I kind of packed accordingly. So just to see how well I was thinking, I figured that this foundation would be too light for her. Honestly, just looking at her, I think this would be pretty good, but just because I like to go darker, this is a little light for what I would go for. Would y'all think that this will match her? Yeah? Let's see. Always want to shake up your foundations, because even though like it's a matte foundation, I don't know how they formulate it. It be oils and it be separating, so you always just want to make sure everything is mixed properly. Then I didn't. We're skipping a step. So primer. This is, truthfully, I left my primer at home that I wanted to use. So I went to the store and I picked this up, but the reviews were great and I really do like it. And it was $5. So this is a matte primer. Usually matte primers are more silicone based and it just feels more blurry on the skin, but I like this primer because it feels more like a moisturizer. I would say this is something that you can use every day, because the one that I use is the One Size Oil Sucker Primer. It's a very, very good oily skin primer, but it dries the hell out of your skin. Like, you can feel it. You can feel that it's tight, and you know, I don't really want that for every day. Like I said, I'm not trying to get no oil at all, because I know it's gonna happen. Blotting sheets are your best friend. You can use paper towel, blotting, blotting. You can use paper towel as well, but blotting sheets are meant to absorb oil off of your makeup. I ordered like a 12-pack from Amazon. I put one in each of my purses, all of my backpacks, wherever I'm at, I'm gonna be touching up and getting it together. Like I said, you can use a napkin, but sometimes the napkin can take off a little bit. It's not visibly like you missing a chunk of your makeup, but you can, with the napkin, it's taking off a little bit more makeup than the blotting sheet would. The blotting sheet literally just takes off your oil. So I'm gonna go in with this primer. If you have combination skin, you can use multiple primers. So if in your T-zone, if you want to use a primer for matte skin, cool. I've had people that's like that, and then maybe like around their mouth is dry. So you use a oily primer, a mattifying primer here, and you're using a more more dewy moisturizing primer in your dry areas. Some primers, like the one that I mentioned, the oil sucker, you really shouldn't use that everywhere. It says on the packaging only use it in your oily areas, because some oily primers, like I said, it really dries your skin out and you just don't want that all over your face. This one is gentle enough to where I can put it all over her face and it's going to do its job. And you might be thinking, or at least I used to think this when I first started off doing makeup, her skin looks very shiny for probably what you would think before makeup for somebody with oily skin. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So this is why I say you really want to make sure you moisturize in the face. I promise you, this is how shiny her skin look and how many products we use is not gonna matter. And this is somewhat of what I mentioned right here. If you wanna, I'm gonna turn you. So this is some of the mixing of the products, and you see how it's not mixing well. So I'm gonna take it, but it only did that right there. So I'm assuming it didn't do it right here. So I'm assuming that it's either, I don't think she got nothing around her edges, but I think that maybe just right here, either the good molecules or the moisturizer didn't get blended. I didn't blend it into her hairline enough, and I kind of just stopped right there because I don't want to mess up her hair. So that's why it happened right there. But in this moment, this is exactly what I would do to a client. Before, I used to think that I got to start all over, but you don't. Unless, if it would have started doing it right here, then I might have honestly just took makeup remover wipes and honestly just started all over. Just because you want to, especially with client makeup, it's different if this was late at night, like I said, and you just doing this before bed, because then you test and stuff. But on a client, you paying a professional to do a professional job. I'm not finna risk, oh, it might get better. No, we finna get it together right now before we get too far into this, and now we gotta really start over. And even like right here, it didn't do it. So that's how I feel like you kind of just gotta problem solve. If it would have, like I said, if it would have did it everywhere, okay, now we got an issue. These two products don't work well together. But I know, especially because I just used this, I knew that wasn't the problem. And as you can see, compared to this side of her forehead and her nose compared to other places, it's a lot more matte. I'm not gonna put it too much under her eyes because, I mean, people really don't sweat under their eyes, but, and I want to try to keep, since I know that I might be doing like some baking, if they want a strong nose contour, or if, like I was saying with the eyeshadow, we need to put some of that right there, you want to keep under eye as moisturized as possible. Because I'm going to put powder right there, so you just don't want it to dry out that much. And you can definitely tell it's just because I didn't bring it far enough into her edges. And it's just, that's why I say you got to let stuff sit. So it just didn't get enough chance to sit because it was a little thicker. It was probably applied more right there than it was the other areas. You always want to make sure you have napkins with you when you go to do somebody's makeup. That's something that I didn't really always think about, but I used to just bring a towel. But you want to have napkins that you can hold in your hand, wipe on the face like that, throw away. Because everybody, right now in Vegas, I travel to do makeup. I don't have people come to me just because I think it gives me more of like a celebrity feel. I pull up, I got the lights, I got the chairs, you in Vegas. You know, it's part of the experience. So you don't ever want to just assume they got anything. Like I said, you want to pull up with everything ready to go. I was doing it a little bit right here, but I don't think it's enough to it's not enough for me to think that it's gonna cause an issue. I'm gonna go get a fan really quick, and I'm gonna just make sure, before I put on the foundation, I'm gonna just make sure it's dry. I was just gonna grab this because I usually have one of these with me. Cause yeah, people be tired, and people usually say whenever they get their makeup done, they get tired. So
yeah, it's real relaxing.
Just rubbing my face over here, like.
So I usually give them this. If I would have thought about it, I would have did it when I first got it. But I like to bring it out as soon as possible, because once I get to doing the foundation, then I'm gonna take it off because it's gonna be getting foundation on it and everything. But if you're gonna have one of these, just make sure you sanitizing it. I would use one that has like a cover that you can wash, or get like covers that you can put on them that's disposable. I like to use as many disposable things as possible with clients, just because that's less cross-contamination. While I'm letting that sit, I'm gonna have you hold this fan on you. But while that's sitting, I'm gonna go over, ooh, it just slipped my mind that quick. Hold on. Oh, brushes. Yes, okay. So brushes, I'm gonna go over that while that's drying. So for foundation, any cream product, foundation, cream, contour. So usually you gonna do foundation, that's a liquid. It is powder foundations as well, but people don't really use them. I personally use powder foundations as like actual setting powder, because I think that it adds an extra layer of coverage, because it's technically a foundation, so it has more color to it than a regular powder. So anything cream contour, cream foundation, cream blush, you want to use a denser brush. So by dense, I mean like, let me do just two, or let me do these two. So this is a cream contour brush, and this is a powder contour brush. Contour bronzer, we'll go over the difference in a second, but you see how easy, or hopefully you can see how easy I'm moving these brushes versus this one. It's more short, it's more dense, it's more compact, and it's gonna stay more in one place. That makes sense? So that's usually how you pick in all your brushes. A powder brush, like you use it for powder. This is the foundation brush. It's more dense than this one. It's more stiff, because you want it to stay in one place.
So, were you just showing two foundation brushes? Both of those were dense? These ones?
Yeah. Yep. And you can use, you could use both of these for foundation. The only reason I would say this is a foundation brush is because these is like at the same angle. This one just gives you more coverage room than this one, and it's even bigger foundation brushes. I like to, I mean, I don't want to just say they got a big face, but I like to use those for clients that have just more of a, I guess, more of a wide face, because you have more surface to cover. I knew that wasn't her, so I just bought this one. And then this one, I would use it for contour or blush, just because it's more angled to get into that area right there versus this one. But if I wanted to, and I just only had one brush, I could absolutely use this for foundation. And you can use the same brush for some things. Like personally with blush, I'm only gonna use one brush for her blush. That's typically what I do. I use the same brush for a cream and a powder blush. I just personally, I like a very pigmented color payoff with the blush. I didn't really do that today because it was real. This is coming off as soon as y'all leave. But yeah, I think it's cute. I used to never wear blush because I thought it was for white people, but it makes the look come together, and I really like it. So that's what we're gonna be using this for. This is another brush that can be interchangeable. I will use this to blend out cream concealer. I will use this. I have used this for blush in the past, but I would say blush and concealer, specifically only with this brush, is the only two times where I will use one brush for powder and cream. So I'll use this to blend out the concealer, and then I'll also use this to set it with powder. Just because I don't tend to, I've never like saw a difference. I've never felt like it blended funny. And if I was to get a different brush, it would be this exact same brush. So I'm just like, well, why don't I just use the same one? If I wanted to use a brush for her skin prep, like I was saying, I would have did something like this. This is a foundation brush. You can use it. I just personally, brushes pick up more product versus your fingers, so that's just personally why I like to use my fingers. If you got super duper duper long nails, that's why these broke. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna just keep them off because I got to be close to people's eyes anyway. I would just maybe use a brush if you feel less confident being around people's eyes with super long fingernails. But these ones are also, let me see. Okay, so this one, these can all be used for concealer. This one, like I said, this is the only one I would use for concealer and powder. If I wanted to do two different brushes, I can blend out her concealer with this one and then put the powder with this one. The two differences as to when I would pick for either one. Typically for a client, I'm just trying to, I don't want to say I'm trying to use as less brushes as possible, but I'm trying to use as less brushes as possible. Yeah, that's just the least amount of brushes I got to clean at the end of the night. So I might use this one just because I can use this for her cream products and her powder products. For myself, I probably will use this one under my eye and then go in with this one. If I'm doing a super natural makeup look, I'll probably just use this one on myself because I can do both and I ain't got to reach for another brush. As far as like a client, if I was to go in and use both of them, I would use, so you're going to see me, I'm going to do 2 different layers of under eye concealer. If you don't really like a strong highlight under your eye, you might not do that. But for the first one, it's going to be closer to her skin tone. I'm going to blend that out with this one because I want it to go from like here to here. So I'm covering more space. When I go in with the lighter concealer, I really want to keep that right here. I don't want to go too much further than like maybe the middle of her eye. And I'm not trying to go too low either because I just think that look bad. I think the brightness needs to be under your eye and not, because it be real bright and like, your whole under eye don't need to be that color. Just me personally. So yeah, I would use this one to keep it more in one place. And then I would do this one if it's a color that's more closer to her skin color where I don't mind blending it out. This one you can use for under the eye as well, but since it's kind of tapered, if you will, I like to use this for the nose contour because I think that is in a good shape to do it right there. So the nose contour, typically I'm taking a darker color and I'm going down like the bridges of the nose like that on both sides, and I think that this just gets in that area pretty well. Same rules kind of apply to eyeshadow. So for eyeshadow, let me have less brushes. For eyeshadow, well, this one I'm gonna use, you can use this for eyeshadow, or I'm gonna just come around so y'all can all see it. Can you see it's kind of like tapered? Okay, so this one you can use for eyeshadow, but I'm gonna use it for nose contour like the other brush because it's kind of tapered in that shape to go right in the creases of the nose. So typically I'm gonna use something tapered like this for the nose contour. For eyeshadow, the more dense the more dense a brush is, so dense like the foundation brush, the more compact and stuck together it is. So I would say those are like these 2 type brushes. This is for something that you want to keep in one place. So this brush I will use under the eye to like add different colors. I don't know if you've seen like where they have like red under the eye, pink under the eye, black under the eye. This one I would use it for how we'll do it, but like a pop of color on the top of the eye, because that's not going all over her eye. That's literally only staying in a specific area. Now with the other colors, like the transition colors, the colors that's more so in the background of her eyeshadow, is going to be a more fluffy brush because we want to cover more area. So these are more of our blending brushes. You want to use something that's a lot more fluffy. So even within these, I would use this for like my first color. This is going to be a color that's probably closest to her skin color, just because it acts as like it's a transition color. It just helps it. If I put a darker color, it might be a little harsh from her skin color to the darker color. So I set a color that's kind of close to her skin tone. And it honestly works out. My eyes is the same way like this. Her eyes is darker on the top. that actually helps my eyes the same way people always think I got on eyeshadow, but I'm just not. It's just darker. So you want to have something similar to that. If you can see it kind of already is looking like it's kind of faded right there. So I'm gonna use something very similar to that color, because you can see that's her skin color up there, and then I'm basically gonna just be putting something like that back on her eye, and that's what I would use for this bigger brush. Well, then if it's something that, like, some people have like a black right here and they smoke it out very just right here, I'm not putting it all over the eye, I'm just putting it right here. Or sometimes you can do it where you put a darker color right here and a darker color right here and a lighter color in the middle. That's called a halo eye. You want to use something more like this, or even smaller like this. It's very concentrated. It's fluffy, but it's also more dense and concentrated. So it's not gonna go everywhere like this brush would make it go, but it's still gonna blend more than a brush like this, because this ain't going nowhere. And all that sound good? Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. I always feel like I'm not explaining myself well, so I'm trying to do a balance of like explaining myself but not throwing too much information. Okay, so I can take this. I'm going to put the foundation on her and we shall see what it looks like. I'm gonna just do a little swipe just so we can see. Y'all said that y'all would assume that would be her color, and it's not bad. It's not bad. It's pretty close. I feel like that's what most people would go to the store and they would buy. But like I said, once you do makeup more, you will be able to tell. This is a client and I put that on, as soon as I swipe that, I would have known, okay, I need to go darker. Just because, just looking at her chest isn't too much darker than her, but her face has different tones to it. So I just want to even out. I want to take not necessarily the darkest tone from her face, but definitely not the lightest. So I just want to go a little bit darker. And we could also color correct. So color correcting is where you take a certain color to cancel out colors. So I could color correct her redness with a green. I usually color correct in instances where, one, I know they want like a super duper like flawless, I don't want to see no scars underneath, that type thing. Or if I'm not confident that the foundation and concealers will cover it. In her case, I'm pretty confident that it will cover it. In my case, if I was doing like, I'm pretty sure you can see some of my dark marks through my makeup. I really didn't care that much, but for someone like me, I would put a color corrector on, just because I would just say it depends on how much darkness they have. I'm gonna color correct under her eyes just because I want under her eyes to be very bright. So to color correct darkness, you want to go in with a red or a peach shade. If you're a little bit darker, you want to go more red. If you're a little bit lighter, you want to go more on a peachy tone. So that will cancel out darkness. And then, like I said, the green, that cancels out redness. Let me actually grab. Oh, actually, no, I think this is it. So I'm going to take, I did about that much of the darker foundation. That's different than the one that I already put on her face. So I'm taking about that much of the darker foundation. That was about maybe like a pump and a half. Maybe like a pump. So a pump of each. I'm gonna mix it. And I will be doing this for a good 5 minutes before I even touch the client face. They just be looking like, what's she doing? And I just be sitting there like, just trying to see. And I think this should be good. And you never want to use your brush when it got like so much product on it. Like, to me, that's a lot of product on there. And it only looks like that because I was mixing the two foundations together. So I always keep a glove, just because I typically forget that the makeup be on my hand, and especially in Vegas, I be moving so fast, like I will literally leave the room, forget to wash my hands, and now I'm walking down the hallway like, dang, I got all this foundation on my hand. And it's just easier to clean up. It's more sanitary. So now I done cleaned up my brush. This is how you, depending on the client and depending on the look they go for, I can kind of get a sense of the type of look you like based off the inspiration picture you show me. If you send me a picture of my own work, oh, that's even better. But if they send me a picture and it's more natural, I can tell, okay, I'm not gonna clean up her eyebrows. Like, very rarely do I apply concealer to the top and bottom of their eyebrow. Usually I just do the bottom. I might do the top if like they just real specific about how they want it. And that's cool. Like I said, you paying me, I'm gonna do it how you want me to do it. But typically I only clean up the bottom parts. And like I said, depending on the reference picture they give me, if it's a very clean, sharp brow, I might go underneath the entire eyebrow. If it's a more natural look, one of my faces, I'm typically only, my bad, you didn't see that. I'll go from like, my bad, Shardy. I'm gonna raise you up too. I'll go, if they want a super clean eyebrow, like real defined, I'll go from here all the way to the back. If it's something more natural, I'll go from where the arch is to the back. So if it's more natural, I'm gonna start probably like somewhere right here and then go to the back. So let's put this one next to this one. And it's not that big of a difference. It's enough of a difference, but it's not that big of a difference.
I can see it next to
Yeah. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna do, the only places I would say I guess I avoid putting too much makeup, I definitely, since I know that, first of all, with the client, I've only had a client come to me and say they want something natural. What I think is not, because what y'all think is natural and what I think is natural is two different things. This would be like super duper duper extra natural. I would never do a look like this on a client unless that's what you specifically asked me to do. So with the client, I'm typically going to avoid these areas right here. With my own personal makeup, when I did this natural face today, I didn't really do that because I knew I was only putting one concealer under my eye and that's it. So since I know I'm going to be layering two on her, I'm not going to put too much right there. I'm still going to blend it up there, but I'm going to really avoid under her eye. It's easier because she got lashes on, so with her eyes closed, basically wherever I can't get right now, I'm not putting up makeup right there until I get to the under eye concealer. And then I also try to avoid, I'm not going to fully avoid it, but I'm just going to blend this back because especially I love wigs too, but I love when clients have their real hair because sometimes with wigs, I don't like to, so with contour, and that's one of my favorite, contour and blush is one of my favorite things. I think it brings the face back to life. It adds all the color back into the face. So I'm gonna blend it back, but with the wig, I don't go as dark as I typically would with the bronzer or contour because sometimes that will make the lace appear lighter because it's a dark color right next to it versus if it was just her regular skin tone, which is supposed to be matching anyway. That makes sense? Yeah. So, yeah, they got a lace on. I wouldn't go as dark with the contour and bronzer. And so while I'm on that subject, the difference between contour and bronzer, contour is meant to make your face look smaller. It's supposed to chisel your cheeks to make you look skinnier, chisel your jawline to make it look more snatched. Bronzer is meant to bring color back to your face. That's what make you look like you got a tan, you know? You can do them both at the same time, but typically you are bronzing and not contouring. Bronzing is gonna be more of a, it's gonna be more of a warm tone. It's gonna be more red, and a contour is typically gonna be a lot cooler. It's gonna be a more blue tone, just because that's creating that shadow. It's really chiseling your jawline, and versus the bronzer, that's just meant to bring color back to your face. I'm gonna take this one around your neck. So sorry.
It's okay.
Contour fuller and bronzer longer.
Mm-hmm. When people have freckles and face tattoos, I always ask them, like, do you want to show like your tattoos through the makeup? Do you want to show your freckles throughout the makeup? So do you want it to show?
No, thank you.
Okay. Now she said no. Now I don't think she cares for me to make it look like it's not there whatsoever. But if it was somebody like their wedding and they wanted me to like get rid of it completely, then I would pull out the color corrector. I would put the red color corrector over it and it would help to cover it up. But since she said you don't want it fully covered, do you? Or you don't care? She don't care. She don't care. But yeah, so if she wanted it fully covered, I would cover it, but with all the concealer and everything, it's gonna get covered, but you can still see it. But I just want to know, do you want to be able to see it through the makeup? So if that was the case, afterwards I would take very, very little, because you don't want it to like drip on the face, but I would take some makeup remover and I would just take the makeup off of it. And then I would go around it just a little bit because it's gonna look obvious that I just took the makeup off. And then I would just go back in with probably this brush once I'm done and just touch up just a little bit just so it don't look too bad. And then I might go over it with like a Q-tip, just regular, no added nothing, just to make sure. Freckles, that's gonna kind of be the same thing. We can cover them fully, but if you want them to show, it's obviously not gonna look like you ain't got makeup on, because you do, but you can still be able to see them. And as you can see, I kind of stopped swiping this on her face, and I just started going into this because it's drying up a little bit. I'm gonna have to put some more on my hand, but now that I know it's the right color and it's applying well, I might as well just go in and use it. Like I said, this is just another brush taking up product. Also, the difference between a sponge and a brush. I used to use sponges a lot just because I don't know, I thought it was easier. You can use one sponge for basically every single product except for powder. But one, for clients, sponges are not the most hygienic thing. Realistically, if you're gonna use a sponge, I would use one sponge per person, and then I would give that to them and let them take that with them. Just because you can clean it, but like you can't really clean a sponge like that. For the work you're gonna have to put in, like, baby, just buy some cheap sponges and just let them have it. It's not that deep. For yourself, I started using, I didn't own a sponge for years until recently, when my eyes started watering. I did some research because I'm like, why did my eyes all of a sudden start watering? And I just seen that they said that sponges can be more delicate on the eyes, which makes sense. So if you have a very sensitive under eye area, I went back to use this, just side note, because I mixed new color. So just in case this was not the exact color that I just mixed, I don't want to go and put my brush in there. I want to put it on the skin to make sure it goes with the color that I just mixed up. But yeah, if you want, also the difference, if you want more coverage, if you have more things to cover, you want to use a brush. A sponge is going to soak up all of that product. Yeah, that's kind of the point of it. I'm gonna put some on her nose, just not too much, because I'm also gonna I've tried not putting anything on the nose because we're gonna put concealer and contour on the nose, but it looks weird when you don't at least have like a blank canvas. So typically I don't use sponges on clients. Now that I know, like the little, like I was saying, it's more gentle, I might keep one in there, but like I said, it's just more hygienic to me. I want a full coverage anyway. I don't think that you booked me to do something natural. I will hope not. That's why we're doing this, so y'all can do that yourselves. As you can see, this brush is pretty small, so it can get into a lot of areas. I have before like went over like the lip area with this brush, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna just grab another brush. And I typically I do a lot of walking back and forth when I'm doing clients, just because I want to make sure that everything looks right. If I was doing a client, I would just have one ring light in the middle, just because it's easier. I could bring both of these lights, but it's just easier to have one light in the middle. So for the places that's a little bit less accessible, I'm gonna put just a little bit of product on here, and I'm gonna go right here, go right there. And see, like I was saying, I could have color corrected, but it was some darkness right there, and to me it covered it pretty well.
So I had some foundation. It looked right for a minute, and now I feel like it looked orange on me.
Okay, I'm very glad you said that. So some foundations oxidize. I'm not a chemist, but from my understanding, that just means that it gets orange. I don't know why. I don't know what it's doing, but some foundations do that. I really do like this one, because I don't find that it does that at all. And dang, now that you said that, I forgot about that, because I've been using that foundation for years. I forgot that that'd be happening. Yeah.
I was wondering if it was like, did my shade change?
It could have been. Now it is possible that that might have been a summertime color, and now in the winter it's too dark. I would definitely think about when you bought it, but for the most part, that's just oxidation. I would really just suggest that foundation. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Yeah. I think I'm almost 100% certain they got all of y'all colors in that foundation. So I would personally just try that one. Maybelline Superstay. We can pass it around. Yeah, if you do use another foundation, I would just, because I'm not the most well versed with different, once I like something, I'm sticking to it. If I don't, then that's when I'm trying new things. And like I said, I was using that foundation before I moved to Vegas, and I moved to Vegas like 3 years ago. So I've been using that, I would say, at least 3-4 years. And I tried the Huda foundation, which is still good, but I want to say the Huda foundation like $50 a bottle versus that is like $13. So, yeah, I really like that one. If you want to venture off to something else, I would just look up the foundation and say, does it oxidize? Look up other people's reviews, see what they say. You can look up wear tests. So people, like, there's a whole lot of people, they'll try different foundations and wear them throughout the day, and they'll tell you what happened, if it looked any different, if the color changed, anything like that. One other tip is going to be to cover the tip of her nose. I don't know if y'all can see, the makeup stops right here. That's not cute. So always make sure you do that. And as you can see right here, it's pretty, like I said, it's really not it's not no foundation right there. I also like to take a small brush like I did on top. I like to go closer to under her lips. If she didn't have, because sometimes, like I said, I'll be forgetting things. If I would have forgot something to put on her lips, it would have been clear lip gloss. Now, if I forgot clear lip gloss, I don't even need to be there. I don't even need to be there. But yeah, you definitely want to just make sure you get in all the cricks, all the crevices. You want to bring it down. If her neck was very discolored, like I've had before, I did makeup for a baby shower, and I don't know exactly how pregnancy works, but sometimes it can make your neck darker. So she had me bring it like all the way down. Now that's very thick, and like oiliness, you have something on your skin. I don't know not one product how much they like to claim is going to be transfer proof. You have on makeup. If you don't want it to get on your clothes, take it off. So tell them, hey, I can bring it down, but just be advised, I don't know what you're wearing, but if it rubs, it's probably going to transfer. I can use as many setting sprays and powders that claim to be transfer proof, but you have on makeup. Hey, do you want me to cover the darkness, or you want to deal with having some makeup on your shirt? So I like to bring it down. Depending on what they have on, you might not be able to bring it too much down, but realistically, you just want to bring it down enough to where they don't, because like I said, it might be a little bit darker than their actual color. So you just want to bring it down to where they don't have a harsh line. That's why I typically always step back and just see. I can tell her face does look darker than her body, but like I said, once we add all the powders, all the liquids, it's gonna all come together. Another thing is the ear. typically I don't see too many times to when it's different, but sometimes someone's ear can be very light. I'm not the type of person that like to, I always ask, because I don't just like to be putting makeup everywhere. Like I said, they have earrings in, people's skin be sensitive, so you can go over, just ask them like, hey, I might even take a picture like, this what the side of your ear look like. You want me to put some makeup on it? Like, you know, at least I done gave you the option versus you out here looking crazy. And most people say no. Most people don't care. But these are just things that I be thinking about. Okay, so. And you know, it's crazy. I said I was going to do the eyes first. That's crazy. I did. It's okay. It's all right. I'll show you how to do the powder. Okay, so now I'm actually going to go in with a contour. This is a Juvia's Place contour stick. Honestly, no, that's not dark enough. I knew it wasn't going to be, honestly. I was trying to find a contour when I was packing, and I had a very good feeling that I wasn't going to find one that was a decent color for her. So this is something that it don't have to be what you're using it for. I'm finna use this foundation because this is the darker foundation that I mixed with her lighter foundation. So the color is already on her face. I know it works well with her. I'm gonna just use foundation as a contour. I'm gonna use the same brush. Like I said, that's why I always have napkins on me. I'm just gonna wipe the product off. It ain't gotta be perfect. I just don't wanna, if I kept that product on this brush, it would have mixed with this and it would have made it lighter. And we just said we needed something dark. So, and even then, no, it's not dark enough. Let's see. Okay. And I knew this one that I have is going to be too dark. I'm going to use this concealer. I do like this concealer, but I would not recommend this concealer as a beginner. If anybody hungry, go get some more food. We could take an intermission. This one is kind of how I was saying, this brand, I really like it. But if you're not moving, this is just, it comes with trial and error, trying different products, knowing what you can and can't use. Like this e.l.f. concealer, they have another one with the black top. I would not recommend any of y'all try that because it dries in about a minute, and if you ain't blended out, it's not going anywhere. Okay? Same thing with this one. You gotta blend it out pretty much as soon as you can't, how we've been talking, no, as soon as I put this on her skin, I'm blending it out. And I'm not putting it everywhere. I'm gonna put it one place, blend it out, put it one place, blend it out. That just honestly comes with learning different products. You won't know until you try it or you read a review. And sometimes how it worked for them ain't how it worked for you. So you really, it's just trial and error. I like the concealer, but it's not beginner friendly. So I'm gonna take this with the dense brush because it's a cream. And I'm gonna I'm mixing them together to make it a little less harsh. And I'm actually, since I'm done with the foundation, you might not be able to see it, but it's a little wetness right here. All of that's dry. But I'm gonna blend that in here just to try to lighten it up just a little bit. Because this is, I would say this is pretty dark for her. But I'm gonna be very sparing with it. And this is why I really like when they have their hair out, because I can blend it back into the hairline and I think it looks a whole lot more natural. And for foundation and any liquid product, if you notice, I'm just punching it in. I'm not swiping, I'm stippling the brush in. And I did that with the foundation too. You never want to swipe anything. And I'm also not going all over like I did with the foundation. I'm really keeping this right by her hairline. And I like to do this first because if I happen to go too low, once I put her highlight, I can fix that. Like I said, it's easier to correct darkness versus correcting lightness. So so far we did the primer and we put the foundation, and now I'm doing a contour. It doesn't always have to be this order. For myself, especially for clients, I typically do the same for most clients, unless it's really just, I don't know, just something that's making them different. For the most part, I do the same thing. The only thing that can vary is whether or not I do your eyeshadow before or after. And just like I forgot here, I forget in real life. It's been times where it's a dry skin person and I'm like I said, I shouldn't be putting all this powder, but I got to. I forgot to do it. So it done been times where I might have did the foundation and like I just realized, oh, okay, I'm stopping everything with the face and I'm finna do the eyes. But I just don't want to cut the class like that. But I done did that in a real scenario. Just because, like I said, depending on what eye look they want, it can get messy. It can get messy sometimes. But I feel like at least loose glitter, that's not really, I feel like it's popular now. At least how it used to be. So as you can see, this is just really just bringing the warmth back to her face. I'm gonna do one side and then just so y'all can see the difference between the two. I always like to go around. That's another thing that this kind of depends on. If they have a very small forehead, that could be just in general or because they got a wig on and it's a little too low. I would not do this. I would, if the wig is right here, baby, I'm not putting no contour. I might do the smallest bit, or I would make the foundation on her forehead darker than the rest of her foundation. Just because, like I said, it can make the lace look lighter and we only working with so much room. We can't play with all them colors like that. So, and I bring this back just because you can see that it's darker right here and her scalp is lighter. Now, I'm not trying to darken up her scalp, but I'm just trying to make it look more natural. And that's usually a whole lot easier if they're not wearing a wig. I'm not going to do it for her, but if they wanted their jawline to look a little slimmer, I would put it right here as well. Since I typically go darker with the foundation, that kind of naturally happens because I'm going to make this area a little lighter. So this area right here will stay darker while I'm going to lighten this just a little bit. Okay, so you can kind of see the difference between the two sides. And both look good. It's just one looks warmer than the other. If you're gonna be doing makeup, I honestly wouldn't, unless you're gonna be doing hair too. I would not suggest one of these chairs because they keep going down. I would get one of the like director chairs. That's the one I use to lug around and do makeup. For yourself, it's probably easier to get comfortable doing your makeup in one setting, but I don't know, sometimes I would maybe try to switch it up if you can. Maybe try to do your makeup in this mirror one day, maybe try to sit down at a mirror and do it one day, just because I never really wore makeup on vacation until recently. But just, you never know how the setup in the hotel gonna be. You don't know if it's gonna be a mirror in the bathroom where maybe you don't have no counter space, so you can't do your makeup in the bathroom. Maybe you gotta, you know, they be having like the full length mirrors that's randomly in hallways. You might have to use that one. So just try to get familiar with doing your makeup in different type of settings. So just pushing it in, and even just from that little talking, done set. That's why I like the concealer, and I'm gonna use them because I have them, but they are not talkative friendly. They are not, you gotta work quick. And for the placement of the contour, contour is gonna be, it would be a little lower. I would go with her eardrum. So I would place it like right there. So it would be just a hair lower than where we're going now. With bronzer, I like to just go a little bit lighter, or a little bit higher, just because I think it lifts the face. But you can, I would absolutely just use your eardrum and your ear as like a guide point. Just so, some people, if you want to do the jawline too, is like a E. So right there, right there, and right there. I'm gonna give y'all some homework. After this class, I want all of y'all to do y'all makeup within 2 weeks. And that's me being real generous. I'm gonna text all of y'all, because I ain't text both of y'all, but I'm gonna text all of y'all, and I'm gonna expect the picture 2 weeks from now. Because usually I have a lot of, this is my first group class. I've done a lot of one-on-ones, and I just be so surprised like that y'all spend y'all money to take a class and then you never do your makeup. Like, y'all just like giving money away? Like, what we learning for something.
Right. Sometimes we support your cause.
Hey, and I'm gonna take the support, but I want to know that I'm teaching y'all and y'all learning the information. Now, if it's something, if it come down to when you like, hey girl, I just don't like doing my makeup, cool, but at least try it, see. Cause I know everything not for everybody. I've only gotten my hair done by one other person, at least my locks, and I'm just the type of person that likes to do a lot of stuff on their own. But when it comes to my nails, that I'm like, all right, I'm going to the nail salon. I will do my own nails, but I hate it. So if you just don't like it, I can understand that. But I think everybody should know how to do a quick little 1-2. This is mostly dry, the dark color. I'm just barely going on there. I know it's really not nothing right there. And I'm going to touch it off right there. I just always want to make sure I don't have too much product on the brush. I would rather have not enough and I can go back and add more versus me going straight in after that. All of that would have been on her face, you know? So I want to be able to control exactly how much product I'm putting on the face. I always, even when doing my makeup, I usually wear a glove, just because I don't like getting makeup all over me. And you should always be like, even if not a glove, a napkin, you should be wiping. You just never want to put on too much product. You can always add more. It's very hard to take it away. If you need it to take away, that's when I would go in with a sponge, because the sponge is going to soak up any excess product. Okay. So now I'm going to go in with some cream blush. And I know I said I was going to use the same brush. If I was using just this, I would go in with the same brush. But I'm going to add some of these in there. So this is by the same company I was showing this earlier, P. Louise. They were very viral on TikTok during the pandemic. It's a good product. But I wouldn't repurchase them. I just have them, so I'm going to use them. So these are pigments. They're not necessarily blushes like we learned from the contour, the bronzer. It don't have to be whatever product they said it is. As long as it's the right color, you can use it for whatever you want to use. So these are bases that I could use for eyeshadow, but I like to use them for blush. So I'm going to put it on my hand. And these are very, very pigmented. That's why I'm not going to use the same brush, because that would be way too much blush on her. So I'm going to mix a darker one with a lighter one. And even that's a lot of product. You'll see once I actually put it on her. So I'm going to put more of the light one than the dark one. And since I know that these products are very pigmented, and they can definitely stain a brush. So I'm going to use one of these to mix it up instead of using my brush. Sometimes, like on myself, I might apply it directly, and I've like done like a drop of the lighter one, a drop of the darker one. But especially on, I do stuff on myself that I wouldn't do on clients, just because it's me, you know? I can play around with me. I'm not going to play around with somebody that's paying me. And I'm actually going to use this brush. I would typically probably use something like these, but I'm going to just use this one since I didn't use it earlier. And just to kind of show you that it really, I don't want to say it don't matter, but as long as you're using something dense for cream and something light for powder, you're good. That's really the biggest things. So with the blush, I'm gonna put it under her eye at the top of where I place the bronzer. So like right here. And the other one, this one is really good. I like this one too. It's by NYX. It's just not as pigmented. And since I got this one, I'm gonna just use it.
Would that be equivalent to like highlight? Because I like the little glitter stuff.
No, or okay. I would say, so if you, next one, get the highlighter in there. This would,
So I told you.
that's something different. It's been a minute since I've used that, just because I go through phases with my makeup. So I used to not use blush and use highlight, and now I think I use blush and don't use highlight. But I typically do get a lot of girls that are oily. If you oily, I personally wouldn't put highlighter on your skin. If you want me to, I will do that. But I'm already finna get shiny. I don't want to be shinier. I will put it other places, but I'm not gonna put it right there just because I don't want to look more naturally glowy than I'm already finna get. And especially right there, how we were talking about her tattoo earlier, as many different products we finna layer right there. You're gonna be able to see it, but you're not gonna be able to see it that much. So I'm wiping this off because I want to see stains, everything. But I'm about to, just like earlier, you never want to put too much product, and blush is definitely something, it's something you can fix, but blush just be spreading. It's, you put it there, and if you got a whole bunch on your brush, it's done got everywhere. Sometimes with myself, I like to blend the blush in like a C shape. So if I'm not wearing eyeshadow, I'll kind of put it on top of my eye, and it'll kind of give you the impression that you're wearing eyeshadow, but you're not. I do that with the bronzer and blush, but since we are doing eyeshadow on her, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start over here because I put this one down first. Whatever you put down first, unless after this you'll see me, I'm going to put the concealer down, and then I'm going to do other things. Under eye concealer, the longer, any concealer, the more you let it sit, the more full coverage it's going to be. But you also need to know your concealers. Like I said, with this one, I would never ever in a million years let this sit because I know it's going to be ready real quick. But for the most part, most concealers, you can let it sit and it's going to be cool. So this same tapping motion, and I'm doing this because we're putting powder on top of all of these products. But I like a strong blush, so I like to just start off with this, and then we'll make it brighter with the powder. Because once I put the concealer, this is going to go away slightly. And as you can see, I'm really not blending it out too far. I'm really just keeping it right there. If anything, I'm going to blend it up this way, especially once I add powder to it. And I don't know if you can tell, but I feel like it kind of made that area a little ashy. No, y'all see that? I'm just trying to train y'all eyes to just see, I guess, some other things. Because I feel like I be noticing things that other people might not notice. I feel like it made this area right here look just a little ashy. Nothing terribly bad, but things to notice especially if you're going to do other people's makeup. So I'm going to just keep that in mind when I do like the powders and everything. So by the end of this, that should be gone. It is. It is. If you want to start off with blush, I keep saying brush, with blush, and you don't want to go straight for pink, I really like orange. I was on orange real heavy, and then I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to try some pink. Especially for the summer or the fall time, because I feel like September will be getting into fall, and just I'm looking at like the orange in the inside of the crown. I feel like the orange will look good on you. And as you can kind of see, it's really not going too much. Like, it's not going nowhere. I'm really just trying to diffuse the color, bring it out just a little bit. But it's really, this is a very thick product. Like I said, as you get to know your products, you will know what they do and don't do, and you will get more familiar with it. Typically, like how I was just holding her head, typically I like to, especially depending on what I'm doing, I'll hold her head just so they don't go back and then I hit her in the eye or anything like that. Right there. You want us to wait on you, or you don't want it to be silent?
No, you keep talking.
Okay. I'm looking at these two concealers. They're very, very, very similar. This one is a little cooler. Let me see. I'll try to bring it out at the same time. This one, they're very close in color. I think the one on the right is a little bit cooler than the other one. And it's like them posts when they be like asking men like which one, and it's like the same color.
Yeah. But it do be a slight
The very slightest of differences. Yeah. I'm gonna use this one, even though I said she wasn't as red. I wouldn't also say that she's that cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna put it on top of where I put the foundation, but I'm not gonna put it over top of the darkness that I did right there. So I'm gonna do it right here. Let me see. I'm gonna put just a little bit of this one because I couldn't. It's very similar. This is a little warmer. In my head, I thought this was a little. I couldn't tell if it was darker or lighter. But I don't want to make it too light because I'm gonna go in with the lighter concealer. So I'm not gonna use that brush again. Or actually, I guess I can. I'm gonna use this brush even though I put a darker one on there. I'm gonna just make sure I wipe it off. And I'm not gonna be rubbing this brush like how I was mixing colors and everything. I'm not gonna be doing that too much, so we should be good with that. That's why I always like to have some sort of napkin. I'm always doing this just because I just never want too much product on my brush. So instead of mixing them together like I did last time, since I have a darker color on this brush previously, I'm just doing that to mix them together. And then I'm gonna take this under her. I'm gonna have you look up. I'm gonna just take this right here. I also said I was gonna color correct under her eye. I forgot as soon as I put this on there. It's a little late, but I would have done that right now. I would have just took a color corrector and I got it right here, I think. Or maybe it's out here. It's right here. It don't matter the brand. I would have just took this under her eye a little bit. And yeah, then I would have put this right on top.
And what you gonna use for her eye?
One more time.
What do you put underneath her eye?
Concealer. So I mixed, I don't remember which one it was, but I mixed one of these with this. I'm gonna have you open your eyes one more time. I'm having her open her eyes just because she has lashes on. If she didn't have lashes on, I probably could get away with doing this with her just looking straight ahead. And I'm really not putting much. You can tell because it's kind of like feathering off the product that I'm not putting that much product under here. I'm putting enough, but I don't want it caked up because like I said, we are putting another one on top. You can tell because it's kind of like dragging. If it was real smooth, I would say that would mean I have too much product under here. Okay. And I'm gonna bring this out just a little bit because I brought the other one out. Whatever you do, unless they have like two different facial structures on each side. You wanna, whatever you do to one, you wanna do the other side. So that's the concealer placement. And typically for myself, we go usually about the same steps. I typically, at this point, I'm gonna let that concealer sit. I'm gonna do her nose contour just because I want as much coverage as possible. And also the longer it sits, the less likely it's gonna spread. So when I go to blend that out, I'm not bringing it nowhere near past her blush. I'm really not bringing it too much further than where it's already at. I'm only gonna be blending out the edges. So now I'm gonna take a little bit more of just one of those concealers, just because I don't have that much on my hand right now. Actually, a little bit more. Sometimes I will highlight the chin, but because she had a little bit of a breakout on her chin, I'm not gonna highlight it because we don't want to highlight that. If that wasn't the case, I would have put a little bit of highlighter on her chin. In my opinion, I would just say that helps to balance the face out. Like, if we just left it with foundation, it would look funny because your face is not just all one color. So we need to add different things to the face to make it look like normal. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this. If she had honestly, before I would say like if you have a bigger forehead, I wouldn't do this. But I have a big forehead and I sometimes do this. So it really just depends on the look. I would typically say for most looks, I'm gonna highlight the forehead. For my personal self, I really don't do this unless I'm doing a real full coverage makeup look. But you wanna highlight the forehead a little bit. Not too much because it's basically foundation in the middle. The bronzer and stuff is right here. And then we're gonna blend that up. But we don't wanna blend that further than the foundation. We want to keep everything within its respectful place. So then I'm gonna come down the bridge of her nose, and typically I would be in front of her when I do this, so I'm gonna just do that. No, you're good. I typically like to have them close their eyes as long as they possibly can, because one, I used to have people that would just stare at me in my eyes, and I think that's just so weird, but I don't want that to happen. And go ahead and just get you a little nap in. So you want to make sure this is pretty straight. I feel like that was okay. Because you can make her nose look crooked if you make that line crooked. That is pretty straight. I'm gonna make it, and you also don't want to make it too thick, because that will widen her nose, and we don't want her nose to appear wider. So I'm gonna make like a triangle. Make sure she can see. I want to make like a triangle right here. And this is typically the same on all people. Depending on how big and or small their nose is will depend on if we really do this. If they have a super small nose, I'm probably not going to do all this because your nose is pretty already tiny. I might just go in with some powder and skip all the creams. So that's how that's looking.
The nose is tiny?
Yeah, you have. But you have like a real, y'all gonna say the bridge of your nose isn't really that big. So yeah, I would do that on you.
You would?
I would do just the powder.
Oh.
I would do, maybe if you want to, you can do like a little bit of cream right here. But I keep forgetting I got makeup on. But yeah, you have a pretty tiny nose. So now we're gonna go back in with, we use this I keep saying brush and blush. We use this brush to blend out the top of her mouth, remember, and under her mouth. I'm gonna just wipe it off just a little bit because it really only got foundation on it. And I'm going to start blending out this. Like I said, this is going to sit for a good little minute. So I'm using this brush. I'm gonna blend out the edges just a little bit. just so while I'm doing other things, the edges don't get too harsh. But that's not all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just do that. And then sometimes I'll even like to do this with my finger if I don't want it to get too wide. But I'm gonna just take this brush to the side. I wouldn't want to do that because that's gonna now get product on the whole front side of the nose. And you want to blend it into the front of the eyebrows. So if you look very closely, you can see the line is not going to fully go away, but I'm going to just blend it a little bit more so that it's just a little less obvious, because we're about to go in with a darker concealer, so it's not going to like matter that much. But I never want to leave anything just like super harsh. So now I'm going to go in with the brush that I said we were going to use for her nose contour for the cream. And I'm actually going to use just that foundation. You remember the foundation that I said it wasn't quite dark enough? I'm going to use just that one because the other one, this one was very dark. And I don't want her nose contour to be that dark. If it's going to get any darker, I would prefer to be able to control that with powder. Because I just know this product. I know it can get a little patchy. I know it can look a little ashy, especially if it's too dark for you. So I would just prefer to control that better with. You have more control over powder than you do cream. And I'm also putting it in the same area. So that was already dry, but putting a wet product kind of like reactivated a little bit. So I'm still getting a little bit of the darkness, but I'm not using no more of that product. And I'm doing it until it's pretty saturated on my brush, so it's really no product left there. I'm gonna take the concealer, this brush, I'm gonna blend this out just a bit more. And then I'm gonna start right here. I always like to start right there. Just place the brush right there. Because out of anywhere, that should be the darkest area. And then I'm going to basically follow the line that we drew.
But like on the outside of the line?
Mm-hmm. So you want to keep the object of this game right here is to see how close you can get these lines without touching. Now they don't have to be you don't got to get them just super close, but they do not need to be far apart either. They should be at the minimum, they should be no wider than the line that we initially drew, which was pretty thin, right?
Yeah.
So we just want to, and you see I'm just tapping. And everybody doesn't like this. Some people really hate nose contour. I really like it, but if this ain't your cup of tea, just skip it. It's okay. Or if you want it to be less harsh, I would say just do powder. Just put foundation on your nose and then do the next part we do. Because I have some people are very, they know what they want, they know what they like. Other people don't. So if I say oh, do you like a strong nose contour, and they look like they don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to show them a picture. Because we're not assuming nothing. Because we're not finna get down to it and, oh no, I can fix it. But I would rather we both know what we're talking about. Because like I said, everything is different for everybody. Y'all version of natural, my version of natural, two different things. Their version of a strong nose contour, they probably don't even know what a nose contour is. So now we're just blending that out, blending it into the side of her nose. We're not taking it down her nose. Honestly, just taking it as wide as the brush is. And kind of like how we did earlier, you want to make sure you cover the tip of her nose, not the full, just like right here in the middle. Okay, and then now, before we finish any of that, we're gonna go and we're going to, I'm gonna have you look up, Shardy. I'm gonna start right here. And this is that same brush we used earlier. I like to concentrate right there first. So if her eye does end up needing a break, I can come over here and I'm not really disturbing nothing. So when it comes to bringing a concealer up the nose, you want to meet it to where we just ended the contour. And you want to do this with this color and not the next color, because the next color is going to be too bright to be bringing all the way up the nose. So I'm focusing this. We're not going no lower than this, her nostril. And even right here, we're not going all the way down. I'm really just patting it where it's at and keeping it right there. And right here, you want to make like almost like a line. Sometimes I don't like how it looks because it's like it's a line, but I promise you, like after everything, it will help just lift the face and lift the eyes. And this is another reason why I don't put too much product, because once it dries, it blended pretty easily, you know, like it didn't take too long. It wasn't a whole bunch of product that I had to move around. It should just seamlessly move into place.
What's better, the cream or like a powder blush?
If I had to pick one, I would say cream for a beginner, powder for a non-beginner. Because with cream, you can put on too much, and by the time you get done applying all your powders, it's gonna look good still. With powder, if you only doing powder blush, it can be a little, you can put too much, and then you gotta work to try to get some of that off of there. Like I said, I'll show you. The girl who eyeshadow palette is, y'all are winning today. I don't recommend them fully as her as an owner, but her products are really good.
You sell it at Ulta?
They sell it online too. They always have 50% off for Black Friday. I typically only shop there for Black Friday unless I just really need to re-up on something. Because like I said, I like a deal. I could do 50% off. And it looks a little crazy right here, right? We can see the line. So now we're gonna go. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to put another concealer, a little bit lighter, so that can be. I'm not gonna let that dry down as long as we just let the other one, but I'm definitely gonna let it dry down. Which one would you use on her for her highlight? Okay. Which one would you use? Okay.
For a highlight.
Okay. I would honestly say there's no wrong answer. It just depends on how bright you want it. For her, I might mix them together. Because this one, I feel like this would be like, it's her birthday. We finna go ham on the eyes. Because to me, like, it gotta match. Like, if you're gonna do a real bright under eye, we need to be doing a dramatic smoky eye. Something like that. Unless, I mean, that's just your cup of tea. Some people just like a very bright under eye. Me personally, yeah. I want it to look glam but natural. I don't want it to look, I don't know. I don't want to take off my makeup and I look like a whole different person. That's just me personally. I know we're enhancing and you're not going to look the same, but it shouldn't look like a whole different person. So, I'm going to mix them together. But either one of those colors individually, that's why I said, like, even when it comes to matching foundations, it's very rare that I'm picking, like for myself, yes, I just use one foundation. But for clients, I'm typically mixing and matching. Because for myself, you know, I have my own personal, that one foundation. It's still recording. Thank you, thank you. But for a client, I'm not going to have more than likely their perfect shade. So with that one, I'm not bringing it up and out as far as we did the other one. Because this one, I wanted to stay, make sure you can see. I wanted to stay in the inner corner. And it's typically a face, just for future references, because I just looked at the clock and it got a little late, quick. But a face, typically, I'm not one of the makeup artists that pride myself on being quick. I honestly wish I was quicker. A face is going to take me, if I ain't doing no talking, I could do an hour. If we talking minimum an hour and a half. But I know makeup artists that can beat a face in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. That's not me. I'm not, you don't have to be Speedy Gonzalez. Now, if you want to, you can make great money because you can get clients in and out. But I would prefer to get it right versus trying to be quick. Just work on your steps and then being quick will come.
And that's just highlighter underneath her eyes, right?
It's concealer. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's a highlight concealer, but it's just concealer. So, foundation brush, I'm just patting where I put that highlight concealer on her forehead. And if I'm not mistaken, that should make it look a whole lot better. And I didn't put nothing on this brush. One step, now we were like, she needed this to last like for 8 to 12, 10 hours. I would have sprayed this right after her foundation, because I'm about to spray it right now. But I would have sprayed this maybe twice before now. This is, so there's different types of settings. So there's setting spray, fixing spray, and finishing spray. This technically says it's a setting spray, but sometimes the term setting spray and fixing spray can be used interchangeably with certain brands. I would personally say a fixing spray is like the Milani. I'm pretty sure that's like a very popular setting spray. Anything that's like more fine mist like this. This is going to help the makeup. Let me just read what I wrote. Because they're so interchangeable. So a setting spray, which is technically what this is, but like I said, the terms can be used interchangeably. So I would personally say that this is more of a fixing spray. Fixing sprays are to melt everything together. So it's going to help all the products come together, especially at the end. I don't know if you've maybe ever seen somebody's makeup or you've done makeup and you're like, it just looked very powdery. You know, like it needs to look like it this is where you want to use that. A setting spray is typically going to make it, and this one can be used throughout the whole makeup. Like I said, I would have typically, if this was like a bride, because usually bridal makeup is the one where they need this to last all day. So I would have sprayed this at least twice already. I'm about to go in again, and then you'll see I'm going to use it a couple more times. Setting spray, which I would say this is more of a setting spray. This is to make it last longer. So this says that it makes your makeup last up to 36 hours. I don't know about that, but that's what they claim to do. You only use this at the end of your makeup, versus the other one, like I said, you can use it during your makeup.
Wait, I think
Fixing spray throughout makeup, and it melts everything together.
Okay.
Setting spray is going to be after your makeup, and it makes it last longer. And then I would say there's two types of fixing sprays, I would say, in my opinion, the way I would want to explain it. So a finishing spray. So your finishing spray can be, if you're matte, you want a matte finish. This one is technically a matte finish, but it's gonna give you an even more matte finish. You can have one with a dewy finish, so it's gonna make your makeup look dewy after. And the finishing spray is literally finishing spray, so it's the last spray you're gonna spray on your face, because that's the finish you want on your makeup. Do you want it matte? Do you want it satin? Do you want it dewy? How do you want it to look? On the other side of finishing sprays, if you don't necessarily, you can use 2 as well. But you can also, like this one, I would say is a, this one says ultra setting spray, but I would call it like a finishing spray. This is like a super duper matte. Your makeup ain't going nowhere. This is one of the professional products that I mentioned. It's gonna make it just like the setting spray. It makes it last longer, but this is just the final step, because you ain't doing no more blending after this. Even after the setting spray, I might still go in with my foundation brush and touch a couple things up. Once you spray the finishing spray, you're done. You ain't putting no more product on your face. And you always want to, there's certain brushes that, like I was saying earlier, you can use for multiple different things. I would just keep your foundation brush for foundation. Because like how I just did with this, it just, like y'all said, it just melted right on in, blended right on in. I can go around here and blend that together, even though to me, I think it looks pretty blended well together. And it's just gone, this can help some of that ash I was talking about. So before I blend out her under eye, and as you can see, it's been sitting, but maybe a little less than the last one. I'm gonna spray you with a little bit of spray. You can keep your eyes closed. I'm gonna spray that, and I really like this one. I really been trying to find the cheap products that be doing this job. This was like $8. Real good, real good. This is the, I'll pass it around. It's the LA Girl Pro. If you got oily skin, or even as long as you don't have dry skin, you can use that, I would say. Even you, I feel like you can use it because your skin not like super dry. It's just not, I would say yours is more normal. Maybe with like some dry spots.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna use the same brush as earlier for all the concealer. And also before I blend out her concealer, I'm gonna kind of prep the powder that I'm gonna put underneath. So I was going to use that, but I don't think it's, let me show y'all. I was going to use this MAC Skin Finish just because I do like the way that it looks. But it's, I would say this is, now this ain't her color, but it's closer to her color than I would like. So instead of, I was going to use this under her eye to set, but I think that's a little too close to her skin color, so I'm going to use this. Because I think this would help keep the under eye bright. Oh. Now, if I would have went too bright with the under eye, then I would have used this. That's why I say, you know, you can fix any mistake that you make. Okay. So I'm going to have these in my hand while I'm blending out this concealer. Just because once, it depends. Some people are better at keeping their eyes open than others. Once they close their eyes and look down, I can't go back in with this. I need to reblend, and then hopefully they don't close their eyes again. So you just tell them like, hey, keep your eyes open until I tell you to close them. So I'm gonna have you look up towards the ceiling. Or my bad, you can look down until I get this up. Yeah, if you're tall, I definitely don't recommend this chair. Okay, I'm gonna have you look up. And with this, I'm gonna try to keep it as best as I can, exactly where I placed it. I went up a little bit right there, but that's okay. And if you see, it kind of started creasing a little bit. That's because there's more product here now. And her eyes were closed. There's nothing too major. Once I blend it out and I put the powder there, it won't crease no more. Or at least not like that. And then I always tell them, just let me know if they feel like your eyes gonna start watering. I think usually I feel like your eyes is pretty good, so Once you start to know your clients, you'll know, but just tell them, let me know if anything feel like it's irritated or if you feel like it's going to start watering. You want to make sure you're being very gentle under the eyes. Sometimes you can be blending quickly. And your brush going they eye. And just how she looked down, that's cool. Perfect example. You want to go back and blend before you do that. And I'm going to have you keep looking up. And that's the same thing I would tell a client while I'm doing it. Just so they know, because it's normal for them to, you know, when I move my hand, they think that we done, you know? And I'm not putting too much of this right here. I'm literally just, I'm making sure this, and this area is set. Because I'm finna put the powder under there because we got to do the eyeshadow. So I don't want it to be, I don't want it to just be too much powder. And I set that one because I wouldn't want that over there just sitting while I come blend this out. Then to just go back over there and put some powder. When I'm doing this, typically I would probably be right here. But I do typically move around like this when I'm doing clients. It's a whole lot of moving, seeing things from different angles, seeing how stuff look. And even right now, I think that her nose quad is a little harsh. It's snatched for sure. But to me, I like to ride a very fine line between natural and glam. Because realistically, for your makeup to give like that filter-like look in person, it's not going to look the best in person. It's going to look very good on video and camera, but that's just like, your pictures are going to look great, but in person, it might look a little funny. So to me, honestly, you kind of got to pick. Do you want your makeup to look good in real life, or do you want it to look good on a picture? Not that it's not going to look good on a picture if it's done for real life, but it's not going to give the skin blurring, snatched nose, big lips type look, you know? Okay, so under her eye is set. I'm gonna have you close your eyes again. I had to come up on the concealer right here just a little bit. I think it's easier to do this with her eyes closed, especially since she has lashes. So I'm gonna just bring this in a little bit. Once we do the eyeshadow, it'll look better. So now I'm going to take, this is like a pretty bright white powder, loose setting powder. The powder that I just used was a pressed powder. It was actually a powder foundation. I like to use powder foundation because it gives an extra piece of coverage versus just a regular powder. So I'm gonna have you open your eyes one more time, Shorty. I'm gonna take this powder with a little powder puff, and I'm going to concentrate this just on the inner corner. And I'm focusing this on the inner corner because this is the brightest part I want her eyes to be. And then I'm going to take it a little bit on the sides of the nose. You want to be mindful about how close you are to her eyes. On that side, I was able to get real close without getting in her eye. On this side, I'm going to have you close your eyes. That's okay. It died. I got a charger. Thank you, thank you. It might need to be shortened to put it on a charger. You gotta unscrew those to bring it down. But I'm gonna go on the side of her nose just a little bit with this lighter powder. I'm gonna also go down the bridge of her nose just slightly. Thank you. That's cool. I'm gonna just turn it just a wee bit. Okay. So that's cool on that powder. Now I'm gonna take same type of powder, just a little bit darker, more closer to her skin tone. And I'm gonna take this on a brush, actually, the same, or I only use this brush for powder, but this is the only time where I would say I have more product on the brush, just because since we're about to do eyeshadow, I'm gonna have you open your eyes one more time, Shawty. I wanna make sure it's enough powder, because I need to be able to have something to actually wipe off. You don't want just a whole bunch of powder, especially like I said, if you got dry skin, you want to avoid this, but you might have to do it. So I'm just going everywhere we basically placed concealer earlier, the lighter concealer. Anybody got any questions? And like I said, I do really enjoy these powders. The Maybelline Fit Me, they have decent powders. I just don't think they have the biggest shade range. So that is one product that I would recommend. That's like a high-end product. All right. Even though we're going to be doing a dark look, I'm going to put some primer on her lid just so y'all can get the vibes.
Are you doing a smoky eye?
I'm going to start off with a little bit of a smoky eye, and then I'm going to try to show you how you can transition it into like a more nighttime look. The smoky eye I'm going to do, it's going to be not as smoky, but if you wanted it to be smokier, just add darker colors. You can even, let me show you. Just like these pigments right here, I have a black one that I use for smoky eyes. Just if I know I'm doing black, I'll put this down in the middle of her eyelid. You can even use like a black eyeliner. I'll put that down, and then I'll use that as like a base for a black eyeshadow, because black eyeshadow, now we risking it dropping on the, dropping on the face. With that, it's a cream. Once I blend it out, all I got to do is go over it with a little bit of black eyeshadow just to set it, because any cream product, you have to put powder on top of it. You never want to, we can't just put on foundation and not put on powder. If you put on cream blush, you don't necessarily have to put on powder blush, but you better put some setting powder on top of that blush. Anything you put powder wise, you need to have some sort of cream on top of it. Or, I'm sorry, any type of cream, you want to have some powder on top of it. So, where's it at? I got a little bit of that eyeshadow primer. And since we're doing a dark look, I honestly could have skipped this. And like I said, since her eyelids are already kind of darker, that actually works for the look. But I'm not going, for the sake of the class, we're going to act like we're doing something else. And as you see, it don't have to be over the entire eye, especially with this. We're going to blend it out. It ain't got to be perfect. And while I'm in the area, I'm going to go ahead and take the darker. Remember when I went around with these earlier? I'm going to take the darker one. It wasn't that big of a difference, but I'm going to take the darker one. And actually, I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of this foundation. I personally like to mix and match I've used foundation as concealer. I've used concealer as foundation. If you got the color and that's the color you need, use it. It's really not that big of a difference. If anything, foundation is just more full coverage than concealer. So if I need more coverage, I might use foundation as my concealer. So this is what I'm about to take on her eyebrows. I'm gonna take an eyebrow spoolie and just brush them up. For eyebrows, I typically, especially, it might be a little bit different since you will be licensed. You'll be able to wax people eyebrows. That's the way you can like upsell and get another service. But I typically like for my clients to come with their eyebrows waxed. I can clean them up, but I don't know how you like your eyebrows. You might have a certain eyebrow lady you go to and she know how to get you right. I'm not her. So if you want them a certain way, I want you to go get them done before you come to me. I'm going to take, no, you good, you keep close. I'm gonna take this. So I would personally clean up her eyebrows a little bit, but I'm just doing this to show y'all it don't have to be perfect. We can still get a good clean look without perfectly cleaned up eyebrows. So realistically, I would want to take off probably like all that hair underneath my glove, right? But that might not be how she want her eyebrows done. I would say honestly, eyebrows is where I have the most like, I like it that way, you don't like it that way. You know, I might want it to look a certain way, but that's not how they like their eyebrows. So typically I like to see a picture of when you liked your eyebrows, if they have worn makeup before. But I'm going to take, and this is the same brush I used to apply like the foundation and stuff earlier. You can use a smaller brush. I have this one too. Any brush like this that's gonna get flat. That's all it gotta do. So I'm gonna take the side of the brush. If y'all wanna get closer for this, y'all can. I'm gonna take the side of the brush. It's not gonna be flat. I'm literally only touching this part of the brush to her face. Very, very minimal. I'll make a mark so you can kind of see. Barely touching her face. I'm not laying the brush all flat on there. I do this to try to work my way up. I'm starting lower. And I'm also noticing just how her head bobbing. If I can see that it's coming up, I'm gonna stop. I can't talk while I do eyebrows, but yeah, pretty much just like that. I'm not gonna bring it too far in the front. I've grown out of that look. If they wanted their eyebrows super duper snatched, I would do that for sure, but I just personally like a more natural look. Like I said, even honestly, if her eyebrows were cleaned up the way I would prefer them to be, nothing wrong with it, but I wouldn't even have did this. I would have just filled in her eyebrows and she would have been good to go. So just because of that, I'm gonna come to this side so that I can hold her head. And this is, I would say this is very normal. It's very normal that people fall asleep, especially doing makeup. If it's not a Friday, they had fun the next day. So, you know, they trying to go out and have fun again. So it's normal. You learn to work with it. I would 100 times take this over you being on your phone. Oh Lord. I'll take you throwing up over you being over your phone. Cause when you on your phone, like you're literally like, I can't even see you. Like I would take this. If you gonna text, do it up here. Okay, so now I'm gonna just blend them two together. And I'm kind of going further up front than I did with the actual concealer. but I'm still keeping it in that same line. So as you can see, I didn't take the concealer all the way up there, like with the brush, but when I'm blending it out, I'm gonna take it up there. But it's all within, it's still in a pretty straight line. And still just tapping. It's hard to explain, but it's like I do like a small circle motions, almost. That's how I do for like, honestly, anything on the eye. This would be honestly getting used to how to apply things and what motions. That's probably going to be one of the biggest curves that you're going to have to learn. Just because you probably going to get up here and you're just going to try to swipe everything back and forth, because that's what they used to teach us. And I'm glad I kind of like when people come with lashes, because that's just like one step I don't got to do. But it can, if the lashes are real big, if they want a dramatic eye look, I would just preface like, hey, I can do it, but it's going to, like, your lashes ain't going to be clean when you leave here. Like, you might have some eyeshadow in your lashes, just because it's unrealistic for you to expect me to do eyeshadow and not get them on your lashes. And I'm kind of, if you can see, I'm kind of holding her eyebrow up just a little bit by the arch. I do this just because sometimes, I don't know if I would say like extra skin, but you know, like it's just not as tight. And that's typically with everybody.
Somebody's eyeshadow like this got like super droopy skin, you would hold it.
And if they have, trying to see, I think you have a little bit of hooded eyebrows, not eyebrows, eyelids. So hooded eyelids just mean like, y'all see when she opened her eyes, you can see, I'm sorry, not to put you on blast. Yeah, the crease. But yours aren't that bad. Sometimes I've seen, and it's not bad in general. It's just, you might have to do makeup a little different. And yours, I would say none of y'all have really like, I don't want to use the term bad, but bad hooded eyes. Because usually with hooded eyes, like you can't see their eyelid at all. So I'll put something right here. When they open their eye, you can't see it. So with stuff like that, you might have to bring up, like when I do like the white today, you just might have to bring it up further. Or honestly, I'm not gonna lie, if they want me to do it, I'll explain to them what I just explained to y'all, and I will probably more than likely try to talk them into a different look that's just more suitable for their eye shape, because there's just other options. Just like how with hairstyles, if you ain't got enough edges for that, it's not gonna look like that picture, you know. Like same thing with this. If you ain't got that eye shape, it's not gonna look right. Well, it just won't look how you think that it's going to look. Okay. So now, before we start the eyeshadow, I'm gonna go in. I wanted to just get that out the way. So now I'm gonna go in. This is just, I don't recommend this. It's just a random powder palette. But I'm gonna take like a contour for her eyebrows or her nose. And I'm gonna, cause like I was saying, this is gonna be your darkest area. So before we add any eyeshadow, I just wanna get this out the way. And this is why I like doing the eyebrows last, because if the eyebrows was done already, like even just that little, you know, like that would have messed some stuff up. And I'm also stamping it on the side of the nose. As y'all can see, I'm never picking up product and going straight in. I don't care if I just tapped it once. I'm always going to tap off the side of my brush. And this is just me putting powder on top of my creams. I put the cream bronzer here, and technically you see we didn't cover up all of it. We only covered up some. So you got to make sure you set all of those products. So now I'm going to take these shoes off. I'm gonna take these two brushes. I'm probably gonna use this one. It's a little bit fluffier than this one. It's fluffier, but also more dense. Like it just has more bristles a little bit than this one. So she hasn't opened her eyes, so it should still be all good. As long as you don't use too much product, it shouldn't be too much creasing. I'm looking at my colors. These are my most to use palettes. If you're gonna start off with any, this is the Juvia's Place Warrior 1 and Warrior 2 palette. I would highly recommend these. This has a lot of good gold shades that you can take a picture of the front. This one has a lot of gold shades that you can use. This one has a lot of good brown shades. And I think they're just very good for everyday type looks. As you can see, they've been very used and abused. So I'm going to take this shade right here, which is not too much darker than her, but it is a little bit darker than her. This is gonna be my transition shade. You wanna make sure too, when you go in to hold the eyebrow, just make sure you don't have nothing on your hand. I'm actually gonna take this off because we're done, for the most part, with all cream products. Any other products is gonna be her lip products. Just so I don't want to touch nothing on her face and make nothing the wrong color. So I'm gonna start off at the edge of her eye, and you can see I'm gonna just just the same circular motions.
You say you start off with a smoky eye, right?
Or this is gonna be a smoky eye. It's just a more natural smoky eye. Typically a smoky eye is very, very dark. I'm just not gonna make this that dark because it would be harder to lighten. I want to just show you something that can be easily transitioned from, okay, I did this before I went to work, and then I'm gonna do something before I go to happy hour, you know? And I'm keeping it low and I'm blending up because I don't want to get too close to her eyebrow right now. That's another reason. Go ahead.
The darker shade you gonna use in a smoky eye, or?
The darker shade, you can go all the way to black. I would say that's a true smoky eye when you use black. That's why I say it's like a natural smoky eye, because to me, a smoky eye is black.
But for this look, are you starting with the darkest, or you going?
Great question. No. I would say I'm starting with the second darkest. Good question. Good question. Any other questions? You cannot believe in y'all. Not you. You was over there asleep for a little bit, but you drove, so I'm gonna give it to you. You drove, so I'm gonna give it to you. That one, it's okay.
You can just run with me.
Hey, I ain't turning down no trip now. Can y'all still see pretty well? Okay. Once that get charged a little bit more, I'll just bring it closer. So I'm also bringing this, like how I put the bronzer shade right there. I'm bringing this same thing right here. To me, it just looks a whole lot more natural when you blend it into the eyebrow. That's another, I really like how the eyebrows look when you do them last. You can do everything you need to do around them and they not messed up. So I'm keeping this pretty, I would say like in her crease. And your crease is just pretty much that line that I was saying that's right above your eyelid to where you would see like any of that color. And over here, I'm bringing it like out. So I'm not just necessarily stopping right here, I'm bringing it out here. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Starting off, I always start off like pretty much where her lashes end. With a smoky eye, I really could have started in the middle, honestly. This is just, I would say this type of, applying it this way will get you ready for other different looks. Because with most looks, you don't want to just go straight in the middle and put a color. That, I would say that's really only for a smoky eye. Or if you doing like just this one color, you know, then I would say, okay, put it in the middle. And as you can see, that's one reason why I always tap it off. I always keep some sort of brush in my hand so I can tap. But as you can see, it's really not no eyeshadow that done dropped down. That's why we put the eyeshadow there. And that's also why I never, ever will put the brush straight to her face after picking up product. That's the same thing like how I was using a napkin. Same thing with the foundation. I'm tapping it somewhere on my hand, somewhere on a napkin before I put it on there, because you just never, you can think you know how much product is on a brush, but you really don't know until you put it on there.
So is it some looks where you can only use one color? Or is that like
a natural look? No. I don't know. No. I typically never wear eyeshadow. I'm not gonna lie to you. Anytime I used to, like, I really used to love wearing eyeshadow, but now I'm just like, I feel like I look weird. Like, and I probably don't, but I don't know. I just be feeling like I look weird. But you can cover all this up one eyeshadow. Like how I was saying earlier with the contour and the bronzer, when you blend it out, just blend it into your eye. When you do the blush, blend it into your eye. It'll look like you got eyeshadow on and you don't. I would definitely, I don't want to say eyeshadow should be the last of your worries, but get the base down for everybody. The base is the most important part. You could cover up your eyes with some lashes. Get the base down, and then we will worry about everything else later. Still, I would still practice eyeshadow, especially if you're not going nowhere super special that day that, you know, you can't, you shouldn't look crazy, but you might, you know, you're practicing, you're beginning. Just practice, and over time you'll eventually get better. I'm gonna put just a little bit more because I feel like the other eye is a little darker right here. It might be hard to see with the light, but I feel like it's a little darker over there, so I'm gonna put a little bit over here. And since she has lashes on, I can either demonstrate how to put lashes on me or on one of y'all. I think I would prefer to... How many of y'all know how to put lashes on yourself? Okay, alright, okay. Alright, maybe it's up to y'all then. I can either show you how to put them on me, or I can show you how to put them on somebody else. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to take this brush that's very similar, but this one is just a little bit smaller, so it covers less ground. I'm gonna take this And we can tell which ones I use often. So I'm gonna take this one. Now, and this is a go-to look for a lot of people. So I'm gonna take this, tap it off. And this is, never mind. I'm gonna put it everywhere. Cause I was only gonna take it up halfway, but this is what you would do if you was just keeping it like this. You would just go everywhere. Like I said, you could have even started with this. I just personally prefer to start with the transition shade. Cause then it's less likely that you're gonna bring this darker shade too far up. Cause we know we're not going no higher than where the other color already at. And this ain't gotta be perfect. It's just dark eyeshadow. It ain't like it gotta look no type of way. Yeah, that's based. I would leave it just like that. So we'll do the same thing over here. That wasn't a good tap, so I gotta. Now from here, we can leave it here. You can put a sparkly eyeshadow on top, a gold, a silver. You can put a pigment on top, like the little highlighter that's in here. Rihanna got like the Fenty highlighters. I really like those. You can take one on your finger and put that on your eyelid. Or like what I'm gonna show you. We can take, oh, and I lied. I'm gonna put a glove back on because I'm about to use some concealer. I'm gonna use the same eyeshadow primer we used earlier. I'm gonna take just a wee bit of that. We almost done, girl. Okay. And definitely want to make sure you don't have too much. We're going to tap this right there. And we see what brush I used. More dense. I use this one because I'm willing to be more wider with the concealer, and with the actual color, I want to be more focused. So that's how I decided which one I'm going to use for which. Yes, ma'am. And I don't want to bring it too, I'm going to bring it in enough to where like my brush is covering it. I don't want to bring it too far. I could go over her whole eyelid. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just like to do it this way. But you could all, like, for sure bring it all the way over here. Only thing I did, I took some of this and I put it on here, and I need a little more, so we can redo that. I just took some of this and we're putting it on here. And I'm noticing, I'm like, all right, it's not a lot, but it's more than I intended to put on there. So I'm wiping my brush off, and I'm blowing it out. Let's see how it looks from right here. And I think this is a little easier than trying to do like the whole like half circle. If you want to do that, you can, but I think this seems pretty easy. Y'all think this seems pretty easy?
Mm-hmm. Right now, I
feel you.
Get the blend.
If y'all got any questions, I will text y'all, so y'all have my number too. Yeah. Shoot me a text. Send me a picture of whatever you are describing. Hey, do what you gotta do. And I've had the same number since I've had a phone, so I ain't changing my number. If somebody told me I had to change my phone number, like, I don't even want a phone. And you could honestly, you could put some setting powder, like some translucent setting powder over this, and you can call this a day. Cause it looked fine like that. I'm gonna take, I was gonna take this brush, but we can try it. I'll show y'all the difference. And instead of white, I'm gonna take a cream, just cause I think cream is a little bit more subtle. Take that, dab it off still. It's gonna go on, but you gotta really pack it on there because this is a very dense brush. That's why I didn't use it for the concealer. It wouldn't have worked as well. So I'm gonna go in with just a more fluffy brush. And it ain't gotta be perfect. I'm gonna go back in with the other brush with the other color, the brown, and blend the edges. Usually in general, I don't know if y'all noticed, I feel like I've been more quiet when I'm doing the eyeshadow and the eyebrows and everything. That's typically how I am during a client as well. I'll talk to them more when I'm doing their face, but especially I get a lot of do whatever, freestyle, which I don't mind that, but I'm so indecisive. Like, I'm battling between 7 different looks in my head. So I'm real quiet when I'm doing eyeshadow. I'm gonna actually go in with a bit more of that first color on the same first brush. I feel like we lost that in here. And I want to keep that white where it's at. I don't want it to go too far. You see that difference between the two eyes? I wanted to tone it a bit down a little bit. No, you're good. So I just went in, I'll show you. I went in with the same first color and the first brush. I want to keep that white where it's supposed to be. So just going back in. And if you like this, leave it like that. I just personally want to deepen it up. That's one thing I do a lot. I will go back and forth between brushes a whole heck of a lot. Okay. So now I will be, the last couple steps, we gotta do her eyebrows. I'm gonna do a little bit of eyeliner, dust the powder off, setting powder, and lips. So for eyeliner, I'm gonna use, we got disposable eyeliners. And to me, it's easier, like this is probably one of the thinnest brushes I could get. And it's hard keeping a brush this thin. So this is an Inglot eyeliner. I wanna say this is about $40, but it lasts, I mean, I done had it for years. It lasts a long time, and it's a very black eyeliner. It's probably one of the blackest eyeliners you gonna ever have. It can be a little dry and hard to work with at times, but for the most part, I like it. I'm not really an eyeliner person though. I really only put eyeliner because if I was doing lashes, I would be able to hide it a little bit better. But she has lashes on, and it just looks a little funny by the lash line. Like the eyeshadow not fully brought all the way down because I didn't want to get it in her lashes. But let's see. And I just use my finger to kind of thin the brush out. But I use my finger, so make sure you don't touch her face with that. And I'm really making a very thin line. I think that this just elevates the look. I feel like eyeliner can take your look from looking like a beginner did it to looking more professional and more finished. And this other product that I'm going to use, it's not an eyeliner. This is actually an eyebrow thing. But I don't want to irritate her eye, so I'm going to do this in the front. And if you can see, that's a very, very thin line. I apologize. It's a little longer than I thought. I want to say the flyer said 2 hours.
We did a pole dancing class.
Oh Lord.
We struggled.
When y'all did it yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh
How was
yeah.
it?
It was fun.
Y'all did it.
She said that wasn't fun.
It was fun, but like I used so much as I ain't ever used.
Where y'all do that?
Bad Girl Fitness. It's in Redford, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it was like fun. It was real fun. It was real fun.
They have some here at Flirt Fitness.
I think, yeah,
I've taken one before. Did they teach y'all like a whole routine and everything?
That routine kept getting longer and longer.
It's scary. It's scary.
I don't see how people be remembering the routine. Like, I got it while you teaching me, and then they like, all right, put it all together. And I'm like, I don't remember.
That right. That was me. I was like after everybody else.
Is it hard if you don't have no upper body strength?
You gonna be sore. He's sore. I wouldn't say hard. It's just we sore now. Yeah. You give it in the moment, you know, but you gonna feel it after. She really said you need core strength.
About one, so that's a workout.
Yeah, she said we need to get a pole.
I've had a pole in my room. I even had a pole here when I was here. Years. I can't do but not one trick.
People that be going upside down and stuff, man.
I was so scared for that one girl. I'm like, her head.
Yeah.
She was the thing they use with the cloth. What's that called?
Something I've never known.
I want to try that.
I know what you're talking about.
Like Ariel.
Yeah, Ariel.
Oh yeah, the silk.
I want to try that.
Yeah.
I took a little bit of leftover powder over her eyebrows. No, you're good. Just because she does have oily skin, I don't want her, because your eyebrows can get oily as well. So I just don't want that to happen. I'm going to go back with the foundation brush. We're going to take some powder. I'm going to take cool. That's cool. I'm gonna take this one. This is Ulta brand. I like it.
Powder?
Yes. This is yeah, powder foundation. So I'm taking this and I'm putting it pretty much everywhere we put the foundation, and we haven't put powder because I also haven't set her bronzer either. So just taking this. And why are we doing this?
You're supposed to put
Mm-hmm. It was a group effort.
How would you soften up her blush again?
I'm probably honestly not gonna soften it too much more. If anything, I'm gonna just blow it out a little bit. This side is a little softer than this side, so to balance that out, I might make this one a little softer to match that one, and then once I put the the powder really bring everything together. So once I do that, and then I do this, and then once I put a little bit more blush on top, it'll look more cohesive. So I'm gonna take these two, because these really not that pigmented. That's why it's not my best product, but I got it. So I'm gonna just pretty much we just going over all the powder areas. We already set her nose one. And we just going in that E without that one. I could go right there as well. I don't too much care for that, just because sometimes you can have like a line right there. So that's why I prefer to go with the darker foundation. I really like this shade match right now. I could yeah, I was gonna say her jaws are pretty like naturally pretty sharp. If they weren't, I could take pressed powder and like, have y'all seen that where they like line it to make it more sharp? I could do that, but I don't think she really needs it. That's why I say some things you do on all clients, some things is really just what they need. I'm here to enhance what you already got. This was one of the blushes I was talking about earlier. She has a bunch of different like styles of this one. So she has like an orange one, a pink one, a peach one, a whole bunch of them. I really like this one. I would say try one of the oranges ones first. If you think pink is a little too deep in there, I would try the orange one. And they also have, you want to take a picture? They also have a variety one. It comes with the orange one in there. I'll send you a picture of that. So then you can try it. Okay. So I'm going to take a similar brush to this, very similar, just a little bit bigger. And I'm going to do that. Oh, no. No, I didn't do that. Did I? No, I didn't. I didn't use this to blend out the other concealer or the blush. I used this one because I'm like, why is it so pink? I wasn't finna touch that to her face. And even just to make sure, yeah, I know I didn't use this on her. Because I wouldn't, like I said, if I would have used a different one, but I know that pigment is pigmented, so I wouldn't put this back on her face. So I'm going to take this, and I like to use something angled because I want to go right under her eye. And I'm doing this before I take the powder from underneath her eye, because even from doing that, it's going to soften the blush still anyway. So I bring it up. She up now.
Got that napkin.
And honestly, this is a little bit more blush than I would put on most of my clients. I just always assume my clients don't like blush as much as I do. But, hey, for the sake of the class, we're going to throw it on there. I don't think she cares. I don't think she minds. Now, I'm going to go in with this one that I said was a little it wasn't as bright as I wanted it, I can still use this to dust off her powder. So I'm gonna use, before I do that actually, it's certain steps where I will catch myself and I'm like, nope, wait a minute, we're not forgetting that. So I'm gonna put a little bit of eyeliner in her waterline. This is another step that I think makes your makeup look just a little bit more professional. This happens all the time. I have everything laid out and I be losing stuff. I'm gonna just dig into here and just get my brush coated. And you can use like an actual eyeliner thing, but like I said, I just like anything disposable. I could just throw this away. It's cool for me to dig in it like that because this ain't touched nobody's skin yet. Now that's why I put a lot on there for both of her eyes, so I could just do both eyes. I ain't gotta dig back in there. If I did need more, I would need to get a new one. I'm gonna raise her up a little bit.
Which one do you think is more beginner friendly? Those liquid eyeliners or the pencils or the dab?
For underneath, I think this is better. For the top, like I said, this isn't eyeliner, but something like this. I would say this is pretty beginner friendly. Yeah, this is for eyebrows, but I just use it for eyeliner. It could do both of them. I'm gonna have you look up towards the ceiling. And this is not as black as I would want it to be. So this is telling me I probably need a new one of these. Meaning one of them. Just because it's honestly not as black as it usually is. Okay. So it did its job, but it should be blacker. I'm going to take this small brush and I'm gonna go in with the second color we used, so this one. And I'm doing all this before I dust off that powder underneath her eye. So I'm gonna have you look up one more time. And I'm not blending it too far out. I'm really just using the length of the brush, like however long these bristles is, that's kind of as far as I'm taking it out. Because I'm not trying to remake her under eye dark. We just put all this concealer there. But this helps. Sometimes the top of the look can look very heavy. Like she got a real, especially if we would have did a smoky eye, it's like it's so dark on top. It needs something on the bottom to balance it out. Okay. And if you notice, or you might not be able to notice from back there, but this definitely got some powder underneath her eye. Just because it's darker, and I'm picking up more of it than I would for the top because I really want it to lock in and I want it to be dark. So you probably can't see, but it's a little that dropped right there. But that's why we did that before we wiped the powder. Let's see. It's some things you just gotta be right in the middle to do. That's why I said one of the hardest things might be translating what you're doing yourself to a client, because you can't, I could just do this. You really ain't got that luxury doing clients. So I'm gonna take some powder on this brush. I'm gonna have you open your eyes and I'm gonna start from here, swipe. You don't wanna swish nothing in there. You wanna get the powder off her eye, especially if it's makeup right there. Any makeup, you want to get that out the way. If you see any hair in their eye, definitely get that, because that ain't going to do nothing but make their eye start watering. I'm just blending the blush in just a wee bit more. I don't like how it looks good. And that's why I said you have to pick and choose. Do you want it to look snatched or do you want it to look natural? To me, her nose contour looks very unnatural, but it looks good, no? Okay, but you could leave it like that, but this is just me personally. I'm a blend it out a little bit, just because I don't know. I don't know. I just prefer it to look natural-ish. It's natural as it can look. This is why it's important to have a straight line, because it would be very noticeable that your line is crooked. Okay. So now.
Where you going?
Oh, okay. I'm like, where'd it go? All right. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to have you close your eyes. This is the. I'm almost certain this is the one that says setting spray, but I said it's a fixing spray.
Which melts
Yeah.
together. Yeah, never knew.
So you want to do this one first. You want to do this one first because it's going to lock in all them powders and melt everything together. And I like to go in with the foundation brush, even without the fan, it helps just press it in. If you forgot any powder, it's going to press it in. Sometimes if they have real oily skin, I will leave the powder on their skin, spray it, and then press it in. The powder will disappear. I think that did its job. So now I'm gonna go in with this one. This is the actual setting spray. And we still got a couple more steps because I still need to do her eyebrows. But yeah. That's why you really doing the eyebrows first. You really put so much attention on them. And here, like you just said, you could have walked out like this.
You definitely could.
I'll either have a fan or usually I don't have an electric one because if the batteries die, what I'm gonna do? I usually get one of those little Chinese fans just to do that because it don't need to be super strong. Okay. So now I'm going to do her eyebrows. I'm going to use a combination. Sometimes I use powders. Sometimes I use pomade. I haven't used a pomade in a minute. Sometimes I use these. Sometimes I use these. It really just depends on what their eyebrows look like and what I have at the moment. Like I said, I be forgetting stuff. So we're going to use this. I really like this one. This is my favorite pencil. It's the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. I will send this around. This is in black. Now, I would not typically use black on her, but I have black and light brunette. She's really neither. So I'm going to use this very lightly. Very, very lightly. You just want to watch how much pressure you apply. Because you can get away with using a darker color. It's just how you use it. So I'm staying lower than where her eyebrow actually is. And with this, you definitely want to come back and check more periodically than we have been. Because this will look like it's alright, and then you step back and it's real harsh. And a rule of thumb is you never want your eyebrows to be longer than where your eyes stop. Granted, I don't think that nobody really wants their eyebrows that long, but if you ever get into it, they should be never longer than that. And they typically should start by the side of your nose. And your arch should be, if you're looking straight ahead, you should be able to put your eye by your pupil, and then it should be your arch right there. Okay, so as we can see, I did a top outline, and that's really it. I just outlined the top because she was missing more of the top than the bottom. That's, since I'm trying to work with the colors that I have, that's where I'm still doing more, but that's where I'm gonna stop with that one. With this one, her top of this eyebrow is pretty thicker than that one. So I'm gonna bring this on the bottom. Also, I don't know if you can see it's kind of slanted. Usually it's always kind of slanted because I use one side. Once I use that side and it creates that slant, I'm switching to the other side. So I'm never using it flat. It's always on an angle. So they might not need the same thing. Like I said, the other one, I lined the top. This one, I'm lining the bottom. I'm really just going to her main needed areas of focus. So it was mostly missing right there. On the other side, it was mostly missing at the top. Not bad. And then also a little bit at the tail. Now we're gonna go in. No, we're not. The light brunette, that's too light. So I'm gonna take this. This is in, this might be black too. Espresso. I really like this because you can get a very natural look with this. Because it since it's like felt tip, you can really get some hair-like strokes. So I really like to use this for the front of the eyebrow. And you want to be very, very light with this. It's easy to go heavy. That's why you kind of see I'm trying to figure out where does my hand feel the most comfortable to where I feel like I can make hair-like strokes. I don't want to do that. I want to do, not even that. I want to do this. So where does my hand feel the most comfortable for me to get that? I'm gonna take this a little bit. This is the brunette. I'm gonna come shade it just a little bit because I think it's missing some color right there to add to the structure. But using the black would be way too harsh. I'm very particular about eyebrows. That's also why I do them at the end. They look fine. I think they would look better if they were cleaned up, but they still look fine. I just personally, I really like really thin eyebrows. That's just personal preference. You can come in here with the thickest eyebrows. I'm gonna figure out how I can make them the thinnest. Not like literally, but as thin as they can possibly look. And a lot of people just don't like that. That's why I say it's all what you like is what the client likes. If you don't feel comfortable to do it, don't do it. That's why I didn't feel comfortable making them strokes from over there, so I didn't. Question. Can you see if it's a Myers bag over there with a pair of lashes in it? Behind the thing? And I'm gonna do the same thing as the other side and bring this over a little bit with the brunette color. Okay. How we think the eyebrows look? Okay. All right. Okay. Cause me personally, I would have kept going. I would have kept going. Yeah. I'm very. That's why I do eyebrows last. I'm so picky. And now that the face is done, I could show her and be like, "How you like your eyebrows?" And she's probably gonna say what y'all just said. And I'm okay, cool. You like it, I love it. Okay, it's okay. I bought a pair of lashes because I knew you had your lashes done, and I just was gonna put some natural ones on top, but I can't find them. It's cool how it is. I was just gonna show y'all. You can put other lashes on if they already have lashes. That's just if they want to, though. They don't have to. Okay, I'm gonna have you look up at what you're doing. And then this is I think y'all just saw me. This is a disposable mascara wand. I just dip this into the mascara. And she has really good bottom lashes. I love me some bottom lashes. And you want to make sure you coat it with enough mascara to do both eyes. She already has lashes on, but I put mascara on before I put lashes on. Because sometimes with all the eyeshadow, like with that tan color, they could just look a little light. And then once you put black lashes on top, it won't mix in well. It'll look funny.
I actually gotta go on right outside.
Okay.
But it's only the lips left, right?
You got any questions?
No. Man, you explained it very, very thoroughly. Like, I got like 4 pages already.
I got you. If you need anything, just text me.
I will. Thank you.
You just for you.
Bye.
My bad. We running a little late. I wanted to make sure y'all learned everything. Okay. Now I'm gonna take this just like a regular napkin. By now, most of whatever I put on her lips already soaked in. That's why I prefer to use a lip mask over lip gloss, because it's really gonna hydrate the lips. And taking lip gloss off, it kind of doesn't come all the way off, because you want the lips, you don't want them super dry because it's gonna be hard to line them. But you also don't want them super moisturized, because then it's gonna be hard. It's gonna look muddy when you put this on top. So out of these 2 colors, let me put the top on so you can see. I think I have another one too, but just from these 2, this one, it could work, but it's gonna be a little light. I want more of a dramatic look, so I'm gonna do this one.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't think she really care what look we do. And I know her, and I know how she like her makeup, so I think that the other one would have been a little too light for her. And I'm also going to overline her lips just a little slightly.
Yeah, I got that.
I got the same problem. I be thinking about getting lip fillers. I'm so scared. Okay, actually, I'm going to use this one. Pretty much almost same color. It's just the actual sharpener one. It's easier for me to overline with pencils that you sharpen, because you can get it real crisp.
I'm sorry, I don't know if this is a rude question or not, but I can't use that on somebody's lips versus their eyes. I mean, it's still...
No, you can use it for both. I've definitely used eyeliners, eyebrow liners.
I'm saying like that actual, you know how you was putting a disposable thing.
Oh, I got you. Because, so for these ones, I'm going to either wipe it off with like something with alcohol on it, or I'm going to just break this tip off. With these, I'm going to sharpen it. So technically, it's the same part isn't touching another person. But I could do the same thing with the eyeliner one. I only want to do that for the ones that I got to. So that's the only reason.
And then the eyes touchy, like you more prone to probably get contaminated through the eye.
Yeah, honestly, anything. Like, if now, you should not be coming to get your makeup done if you have like a cold sore. But if that was the case, I ain't gonna make you feel rude about it or nothing. But I'm going to, do my best to make sure that, it depends. Because as I'm talking about, I'm like, that might be a contraindication, is something that prevents me from doing your services. So that might be something like that. Because I'm thinking, as I'm like, the foundation brush done touched it. In that instance, I might, one of those like old school makeup sponges, I might use one of them around that area. And then whatever lip product I use, I would probably give that to them to take. If I just still wanted to do their makeup, yeah. I don't play that. Because one person and now everybody, sick.
You know, some people just don't care.
They don't.
People come up when they're sick. They know they're sick and say they got allergies.
I don't mean to be all in your way, my bad. To see y'all, my thought process. One of her lips is higher than the other. Y'all see that? Yeah.
And not just because we being particular. Because we searching for it. Yeah.
That's good though. That's good that y'all will be able to notice stuff like that. That's good. A lot of people don't notice stuff like that. Because I feel like it's been times where I study watering and now like I'm missing the makeup right there. I ask somebody like, oh, is my makeup messed up? They're like, no. I'm like, no, like right there. They're like, oh, I didn't even see that. Like, ain't nobody noticing that. And with lip liner, this is just something, lip liner, nose contour, certain things, you just gotta make sure you on point. It's so easy to mess up a lip combo. It's so many pictures of my old pictures. I'm like, this look was so cute and the lip combo was so patchy and just not the best. Okay. So now one of my favorite lipsticks is this Milani. It's number 1. I pretty much use this, I pretty much use this on all my clients. I've used this forever. Yeah, I got the other colors, but number 1 is my favorite. We're gonna use another disposable lippy. Because I usually always ask people, oh, you want to do nude or pink? You don't know? Okay, this is a nude pink. I'm going to have you pop your lips together. And she already know not to rub them. When you're trying to do like multiple colors like this, you never rub your lips together. Just get out of the habit of that right now. I got that habit real bad. I always rub my lips together. Not with something like this. Oh, let me pass that around. So that's that, and then we're gonna go in with this one. Is gonna just go in the middle, or it's gonna kind of go in between the two colors. This one is gonna go more in the middle to lighten it up. This one is gonna go on the edges. So this is why I say with anything, we're not using just one color. We mixing and matching and all that. And I took out a couple of these just because I know you need a different one for every product. I'm making sure I got a decent amount on the brush. And actually I lied. This is going to go in the middle because it's pretty close to that color. I'm going to have you pop them again. This is more glossy than that one. So it's pretty much like the gloss version of that. Then I'm going to do that last. I really, honestly, I prefer the real cheap hair store lip glosses. I think they the best ones. The tops be coming open sometimes, but for this one, I'm gonna put it on the back of my hand because I don't want a whole bunch of product at once, but I would need to go back and touch this again. And once I touch her lips, I don't want to touch this back on there. And one thing I've had to get kind of used to with lips, you can blend it, but sometimes you can't really blend it too much because then it's like, it's defeating the purpose of every separate color. So I'm literally just putting this where I put the dark one. And then we got one more with the light pink. I'm gonna have you pop them together. And then I'm gonna take one with nothing on it. And I just wanna make sure everything is nice and blended. I'm gonna take this one. It's okay. This one is spray out kind of funky. I'm gonna have you close your eyes. This is the finishing spray.
So once you done,
Yeah,
you done.
we done. Actually, no, we good. We good. We good. I know. I'm so sorry.
You okay?
And it's minty. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Sunday fun day for the Barbie.
Literally. And honestly, I don't typically do this, but you asked about highlighter, and now I just feel like this look needs some highlighter. Because her skin not that oily to the point where I wouldn't put highlighter on her. I'm taking this middle color. Ooh, back in like 2021 when highlighters was really popping, this right here, yeah.
I can tell it's going.
This was everybody color. And I usually just put that on their cheekbones so when they smile. I think that's it. I think that's it. I might have put like a little in her inner corner, but I think she good. Before questions, I'm gonna just show y'all how I typically get my pictures. I'm gonna just bring this. I would bring the light much closer. It would be easier if I had like the ring light because it would be a little bigger. Always make sure you wipe off your camera before you take this any picture in life.
Yeah.
You tried that selfie phone like that?
I got it. I didn't bring it with me.
Yes, I love that.
I just ordered another one. Mine broke. Okay, so I'ma get on it. Okay, I guess makeup is different because typically now I'm trying to get more into photography, so I've learned a little bit more about the camera. It looks better if you press each one of those individually versus sliding it like this. Because from the research that I've done, these are tapping into each different camera.
Okay.
So one camera is 1x, one camera is 2x, one camera is 3x type thing, right?
Yeah.
For makeup though, it looks better when you have like the more slow motion zoom in and not just a, you know? So, and I'm gonna have her keep doing that. I actually really like pictures when they are doing what they wanna do. I'm clicking it and I'm dragging it down to make it lower. So you can see it's still, you know, like the same light. I ain't doing no edits or nothing, but let me show you. So this is this is when you first start recording. That's what it's gonna look like. Tap her face, because that's where it's gonna focus. And then we bring it down to exposure.
Cute girl.
And you can lock it. I think I have my lock turned off, but let me see. Oh, nope, actually it just locked. So now you can lock it to where it'll stay like that no matter where you move it.
Oh, man.
Close your eyes. That's cute. And I really like for them to how she was just getting her own little pictures, because some people, they just real shy in front of the camera. I'm one of them people. When I get my hair done, I'm not in the camera like, no, I'm ready to go. I've been sitting here for hours. So yeah, I like to get different angles. So come from down there, come from up here. I just personally like how it looks when the exposure is a little down. Especially since we added highlighter, you can really see like the pop on the highlighter. And she knows what she's doing.
Right.
So yeah, and as you can see, it's in front of her, but I'm coming from different angles. Yeah. But the light still looks the same. So even from this side, I'm coming from this angle, but the light is more still facing her. And for pictures, I typically really just screenshot my videos. I very rarely take just pictures of my clients, because I feel like we live in a video world. Ain't nobody really worried about no picture. Yeah. What questions do we have? I was gonna say, if not, I forgot about we got a couple more giveaway prizes. No questions? Thank you.